Drive.
Hey, how you doing?
Number 2, Men
Live on
On,
Instagram.
Van Nunley.
We go live on Instagram. I did not know that.
Why do I need to tell you?
I send everybody to YouTube.
There's 2.
I mess with YouTube.
Send them anywhere.
All right, Mike's hot.
Yep. It's Wednesday, Albuquerque. You know what that means? That means the boys are all swole on what soon could be a rainy day here at the McLeod YMCA. Let's go. Starting the show off with a blast. Starting the show off with a guest, Natalie Bode, joining us on the program.
Welcome.
Natalie, welcome.
Great to be here, live from the YMCA. How about it?
Mhm.
I like everything about that.
I got my swole on before we hit play on this mother. I'm still dripping sweat.
This mother what? Do you want to finish that sentence, man?
Not on this station.
Natalie is the new. Do you anchor, sports anchor, news anchor, anchor? Like, what do you go by?
Weekend sports anchor. And then if you really want to get technical, weekday sports MMJ. So what that basically means is during the week, I'm setting up my camera, getting all my own footage, doing everything from the field.
Right.
Then on the weekends, you produce your own show,
Yeah.
whole show, all elements are yours. And then you get to sit in the anchor chair, stand at the monitor and do your thing. So I get the best of both worlds.
So
That's
rest in
awesome. I'm an anchor too.
You could
how so?
say.
Yeah, I'm an anchor baby. My
Oh,
parents,
nice.
they would have
There-
got
yep.
divorced otherwise.
I like
Well,
that.
that's certainly a
wasn't
type
for
of
me.
anchor.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, you know, it's taken us too long to say anything, but rest in peace, Bethany Miller. You know, she was great. Her
Wow.
time here was
Who?
Yep. But on to bigger and better things, which is back to her home state of Indiana, which I promise you is not bigger or
Oh,
better. So
what a-
KOT better for it. Natalie.
Pennsylvania?
I don't really know.
I think it's Pennsylvania.
I know
Lancaster,
one of those-
PA.
One of those flyover
Yeah.
countries.
She
Hey,
was,
come on. WGAL, her station, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I can hold it down for you guys
So,
on that one. Don't worry. I'm
let
here.
me get this straight. She went to a station called WGAL.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
First female sports director. We got to put some respect on that.
Every station in the country is trying to grab that all of a sudden. That's like the wave right now.
I
Sure.
don't see why not.
I'm not saying it's not right, but
We just fired the first left-handed Irish program director from our station.
Yeah, that was
Is
an
that
important
so?
move by us.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
also Isaiah Johnson making the show go around. Isaiah, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing awesome on this Wednesday on Juneteenth. But
That's a big deal for you. Let's go.
Now-
Yep, recognizing Juneteenth for
Well,
Zay Johnson. 2 years in a row now, brother. I thought after the first one they'd just call it. I thought that would be it.
it can't be that big. I'm here.
Oh. Juneteenth was huge in Texas. Number one,
Yeah.
Mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Sandy.
Sandy K.
Let's go.
OG Foddy.
Nice.
It's your mom's birthday?
It is today.
Wow.
Yeah,
Happy birthday to her.
Juneteenth, baby.
Sandy, that's a sick name.
Yes.
SpongeBob really puts Sandy's everywhere on the map.
Okay, well, my mother is a tiny bit older than Sandy from
That's
SpongeBob,
okay.
but
That's okay. I don't
cool.
think she'd
Just
appreciate that on her birthday. But
flex on her, I guess.
I've never seen a SpongeBob.
Also, Juneteenth is from
You're
Galveston, Texas, like
That is correct. Where your mother is from.
8 miles from where I was born.
Yeah.
wow.
So we celebrated my whole life. I didn't know it was just a Texas holiday
Correct.
until I moved to New Mexico. I was like, it's Juneteenth. Like, why aren't we barbecuing? Why aren't we celebrating
Right.
emancipation? And then it's like, oh, wait,
Yeah, we didn't have to learn that.
no one else did that
Correct.
except for us.
I grew
But
up.
now we all do, except for Zay, because he's at work
Yes,
today.
except for
Working.
Yeah.
Natalie Bode, where'd you grow up at?
Brenham, Texas.
How is
Speaking
that?
of Texas, it's a very small town. It's between Houston and Austin.
Okay.
I think now we might be about 14,000 residents deep. When I was growing up, it was
Wow.
about 10. So it's really a standalone small town. It's not close to a big city. One high school, Walmart's where you go if you want to hang out. You know, pull up your pickup truck, open the back,
back
you sit
up.
there in the parking lot. Well, yeah, right. But I didn't
I
drive
mean,
a truck.
do you have a Sonic to cruise through?
We do, of course, we
Okay,
have a
well,
Sonic.
then you've made it. Congratulations.
Right before Friday football games or after.
Sure.
Very Friday Night Lights esque.
What is the fastest you've ever driven in reverse?
You know, I wouldn't know the answer to that question.
It's so scary. Driving in reverse is the scariest.
See,
thing.
that's like the difference, I think, when you grow up as a woman versus your teenage boy.
Yeah.
And those are the things that, you know, you guys would do. I wouldn't dream of that.
Oh, okay.
If I
Well-
skidded out of a parking lot, I think someone would see me and then call my dad. Like, that's how small of a town it is.
Oh,
If
no.
you drive too
Yeah.
late, somebody's going to let your parents.
Well, I'll ask you a teenage girl question.
Okay.
In Texas, how many cars did you shoe polish because you're mad at ex-boyfriends?
I've only had one boyfriend in my life, and it's the one I'm dating now. I
Let's
didn't
go.
date anyone in high
Let's
school.
go.
I grew up just living with my dad. So I was terrified to date. I just didn't touch it. Just didn't touch it. Focus on academic sports, you know.
What
I'd
is
be a
it
good
in this
kid.
example?
Yeah, thank you.
Just bringing guys around my dad, and then
okay,
you're a teenager, and then you're bringing boys, and you're just so embarrassed. Like everything about the situation is insufferable, no matter, even if it's very normal, you know.
Dad have a gun rack in his truck.
John certainly has a gun.
Yeah. So you were brainwashed into the world of sports young. There was nothing you could do about it, and you knew this was your aspiring career forever.
I wouldn't say that. So going off the growing up living with my dad, there's a longer form story about this on my website, nataliebode.com. Not to plug it, there's no promo in it. It just goes in depth because I had to write the story in college. And so my dad predominantly raised me. I lived in a one-parent home with him, and he watched Notre Dame football all the time because he went to school there. And we had one TV in our house, so he designated what we were going to watch that day. And frequently, it was just Notre Dame, anything. We didn't just watch football either. Like the Skylar Diggins era at Notre Dame women's basketball, we were tapped into that too. So
what was that sport?
Women's
I
basketball.
thought that just started this year.
Come on now.
That's a Caitlin Clark
The inaugural
thing, right?
year.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark.
OG GOAT Skylar Diggins. Okay, Skylar. One of the most beautiful women in this world to this day.
I'm about to Google something.
Shout out to
quick.
her. Yeah, you need to look her up.
Fred, I just brought her up last week.
I know.
I said
Thank
Drake
you,
took a shot
Zay.
at her.
Thank you.
Skylar
Drake
Wiggins.
shot a shot in
Diggins.
her.
All right, hold on. Oh, okay. She Botox. She got a forehead. All right, I'm into her. Keep going.
Oh gosh.
So basically, you know, that really set the tone for me. I'm one of 5, so I always wanted my dad's attention, and the way I usually got it was talking sports with him. I'd look up, you know, things that just happened at Notre Dame. Did we get a recruit and talk to my dad about it? So that really set the tone for me and my love of sports.
Natalie
So when
Bode.
they start dropping the jerseys on the coach's desk during Rudy, you cry every time. You've seen it 100 times, but you still cry.
I've seen Rudy once.
What?
I know, and it was
Your
my
father only let you watch it one time?
He didn't, you know, he might have played it when I was younger, but I didn't watch it with him. I actually watched it on the bus after I got rejected from Notre Dame, and I was riding back from my soccer game. And I watched Rudy because I wanted to just have a very cathartic moment and cry. And then I got over it, and now I went to UNC Chapel Hill, so I'm just Tar Heel. I have no Notre Dame fandom left.
I would hate to be sloppy seconds for North Carolina. Like, I feel like that would make me weird. Natalie Bode joining us on the show. She is not good enough for Notre Dame. So KOAT, it's your first like big city read from a teleprompter. Sports every weekend, going to become a staple in people's homes. What is that energy like, though? Like for you personally, what has that journey been? Does this feel like a destination? Does this feel like a step?
I never take an opportunity and think of it as a step, because I think if you do that, you will never fully give yourself to the role, and who knows what life holds. So I'm only focused on this job right now, and I don't think 10 years, because the world of sports media is changing a lot, as is television. So basically, this is my first local market, as you said. It's entirely different because I graduated college in 2021.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
Yeah.
It's 3 years ago, but I accept that. Thanks. It was weird because digital is becoming this big thing, right? So people 20 years ago might have only gone to local TV. Now, like my first job was working at NCAA.com, and I was a digital sports reporter covering college sports. I had the 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. shift.
Unacceptable.
That would frequently go to like 2 a.m. and I'm programming a website, updating things to the College World Series. And then after that job where I got a little on camera time, but again, it's not live, it's digital, I worked at Bleacher Report and I worked in sports betting. And it was a job that didn't exist 5 years ago, where I'm creating content and hosting for FanDuel and DraftKings on the Bleacher Report app. So very different. But then after that, I was a freelance broadcaster for a year. That was my most recent role prior to Albuquerque. And I worked for ESPN Plus covering Kennesaw State football and basketball as a sideline reporter, handful of ACC Network Extra sideline work. And then I was a reporter on the Poker Go Tour and the World Series of Poker.
Wait, hold on. You're a poker reporter?
Yes, indeed. You don't hear that very
I
often, do you?
didn't know that existed.
No, it shouldn't.
I've been a professional poker player and a poker fan for quite some years, and I've never seen anybody hold a microphone next to a poker table.
Okay, so I have so many questions, but first of all, you have, because there have been some staples in the World Series of Poker broadcasting realm that have been sideline reporters. It's really interesting because someone might have just bought into, let's say, the 250K super high roller, and your job is to interview them when they bust out. So they just lost $250,000.
Sure.
And first thing, they're pissed, and you have that interview. So that was great practice for, coaches that are upset at the end of the game, whatever.
Right.
But when did you stop playing poker professionally? We got to unpack this a little bit.
I played 03 to 09.
So you were the moneymaker heyday, Chris Moneymaker one. I got to get into poker, see what's in it for me. But then you had some longevity in it.
That's when the home games went from little $10 tournaments to like $200 cash games.
Van, you were using the most polite verbiage possible here. Van was looking at guys who got excited about it and took them for what they were worth. He was predatory. He was a lion in the safari, and he was just nom 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 on idiots with annies.
Yeah, and
Or that's
I
called
did it
picking the right games.
Yeah.
You know, either one.
And I did that for 6 years till I got burnt out on it. Have you seen the movie Rounders?
Of course.
Okay, my life was Rounders, but Mexicans instead of Russians.
Wow.
Like, that's literally my life for 6 years.
Can get a little spotty here and there.
Oh, it's very spicy.
You know, yeah. That's really cool. So did you in that before or after Black Friday happened?
Oh, hold on. We call it Isaiah Friday here.
Yeah, come on. We're on June.
Let's
It's
go.
June. It's
Okay.
June.
All right.
It's
Okay.
Juneteenth, Natalie.
Come on now.
Come on.
Search Black
Yeah.
Friday poker. These guys, I don't know what they're talking about.
No, I mean, I think the industry's been really good this whole time for good, patient players.
Yeah.
I mean, the money's still there, the tournament's still there, the travel is still there if you
Mhm.
want it. I just got burnt out on the lifestyle.
It is a hard lifestyle, and people would frequently ask, "Oh, do you play a lot of poker?" And I would tell people, I know how to play. I enjoy playing. I'll go play 1-3 to casino. I play 10-cent, 20-cent online like every night. But I would never want to grind out that lifestyle because it's a tough way to make a living, and players are rapidly getting better. I won't bore everyone at home with like all of the nuance of poker. Now it's like an ICM chip model that determines play in tournaments,
Sure.
right? Like it's no longer just, oh, I got to read on this guy. It's like, okay, here's what the model says is the right play. And the
Yeah.
people that know the solvers the best are the best at poker. And in most cases, it's a balance, of course, but it's just changed a lot. But even with that being said, I really enjoyed the storyline aspect because you still have Daniel Negreanu. You still have Phil Ivey, who just won a bracelet last week. You still have Phil Hellmuth, who last I checked, he's almost at a final table in the World Series of Poker to get his 18th, which
Sure.
would just further his record. People don't appreciate poker enough. But you do, and
Oh,
I
for
do. And
sure.
if Fred doesn't, that's okay, because two's a majority in this case.
The
So
rival Isaiah's here too.
Who's got better
Yeah, sorry,
hair?
Dave. My bad.
Who's got better hair
3-1.
plugs?
3-1.
LeBron James or Daniel Negreanu?
Great question.
No
'Cause
comment.
Daniel
I
Negreanu's
can't.
Daniel Negreanu's hair plugs are elite. They're the best.
They're Urlacher
They're
level.
the best I've ever seen. They're
Yeah.
better than Urlachers.
They're better than
They're
Urlacher.
better than Urlachers.
And here's where I have no comment, and I spin this in a different positive direction. Daniel Negreanu has done more for the game than anyone. I'm really glad that he's still playing and grinding as much as he is.
Sure.
Oh, it's boy. What's Lon's last name?
McPhearson.
Yeah, Lon
Lon
McPhearson has
Come
done
on
more for
now.
poker than
Okay,
anyone else.
Well, I love Lon. His impact is, it's immeasurable. But Daniel, he not only grinds at the table, he makes a ton of content, and he like amplifies his star to amplify poker in general. And some people don't want to do that. It's easier to not, and he puts in a lot of effort to it.
Norman Chad or miss the bus. That's how I feel.
Norman
about
Chad's
poker.
pretty good.
He's hilarious.
I was on a stream with those guys last year at the World Series, and that was one of my like pinch me moments at the World Series of Poker because I was there and they were in the booth.
That's so sweet because we always talk about things on this show that no one's trying to achieve, but whenever they do, they feel accomplished. I would put that on the list.
Oh yeah.
If I were to be like, oh, sit down and like hang out with Norman Chad, I'd be like, weird afternoon,
Yeah.
but cool. Glad I did it.
I'm a big Gabe Kaplan guy.
Oh, Gabe Kaplan's really good too.
The connections to old Hollywood and like
Yeah.
the beginnings of poker, like
What about
the
Ali
dude has some
Najad?
stories.
Ali?
Indifferent.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Wow. Nick
Yeah.
Schulman?
I honestly couldn't pick Nick Schulman out of a lineup.
So
I'd have
you're
to
part of
Google-
the older guard. You might not be keeping
Oh,
up with
for
it
sure.
as much as I am these days.
Oh,
Nick
not even.
Schulman's incredible.
I have a passive interest as far as like
Okay.
the tour and the tournaments go.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I do know about Nick Schulman a little bit because he's like an analytics guy. He's like, I'm the future of. It's all about percents or whatever. What's the name
It
of
is,
the-
Which it
though.
is.
It
Yeah.
is, though. But he's interesting because I think this is correct. He grew up playing pool, and then he got into poker, and he has great card sense because it's not no limit hold'em and just Texas hold'em. He wins those. He wins the 50Ks, but then he'll win 7-card stud and win a
Mhm.
bracelet in that at the World Series. So he's one of those players that he's one of the best because it's not just no limit hold'em. He can play all the mixed games. He's in there.
Natalie Bode's with us. We step away so we can come back. We'll do one more with her, talking about what she's excited about to cover here in the city, the state of New Mexico, and 505-246-0610. Text the program. She's going to need high school coaches phone numbers.
Yep.
She's going to need athletic directors.
Yep.
She's gonna need which gate is open at the UNM game so she can
Yep.
sneak in when she gets there late. And obviously
on.
suggestions on what to get when you go to Sadie's. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610. Isaiah, we're not taking calls until Natalie's gone. The sports animal.
This report.
You say?
Back live on the program, back live from the YMCA. But you know we're at the McLeod location, the intersection of Tramway and Comanche if you're intersection adjacent.
You frustrate me to no end.
12500 Comanche Street, Boulevard, or Avenue. I don't know which one it is.
A smidgen west
Yep.
of Tramway on Comanche.
Just off the beaten trail, they say.
You can't miss it. It's the one that says YMCA on it.
There's actually two because our guest Natalie Bode went to the wrong one earlier today.
That's not true, you guys. He sent me an address to the neighborhood behind the YMCA.
I dropped a bad pen. I'll shoot
And
you
I
straight.
follow directions. So the most updated recent address, I'm going to go to that one. Texted him, hey, am I supposed to be at a residential location? No. And here we are. I made it.
The Wi-Fi was all jumpity, boys.
Now, hold on. I was praising her for her non-regional dialect
Yeah.
earlier, and you made her a little
Non-regional.
pissed off.
Yeah, I hate y'all.
And then the Texas came out a little bit.
What did I say?
The Texas came out.
What did I
I'm
say?
from Texas. I worked my
Where are
ass
you
off.
from in
get-
Texas?
Texas City, Texas.
Texas City. What's that near?
It's right in between Galveston and Houston.
Oh, okay.
On the coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I say where I had an accent? Someone here asked me if I was from Alabama. Do you know how offended I got? No offense. I love people
Oh.
from Alabama,
no,
but
you
come
don't.
on.
No one does.
There's a twang there that I don't have.
No, that's for sure. Piss her off again.
Rotten here.
That's wrong. You know?
If I was from Texas, I would instead tell people the last place I lived. I would say Atlanta. Like
So-
that would be my
But
move.
that really hurts me though. You know why? Because people from Brenham, and I know you could say this is because of the larger, like everyone from Texas has a sense of pride about Texas.
Yep.
Brenham is such a small town that we like to rep because like Cortland Sutton on the Broncos, he's from Brenham, Texas. He always
Okay.
talks about the 979. It's a big thing. Drake just bought a house in the 979. He brought Dos Barristas, which is a Chapel Hill ranch. We're getting put on the map, and I feel the need to let people know. But then people like yourself, like they don't love Texas, and I don't
Who-
get it.
Who on the football field has beat Cortland Sutton as bad as Lamar beat Drake? Like I'm trying to come up with.
You know, I'm not convinced that
man.
wasn't orchestrated. And let me say this because you
Uh-huh.
brought this up. I might have brought up Drake. You brought up the Kendrick Lamar beef.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
What's
hear it.
what's the barometer for success in business, gentlemen? Would you say it's revenue? Would you say it's money earned potentially?
Let's
I
ask
mean,
Dak
the-
Prescott.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The
So
friends that you've made along the way.
I like that.
I would say.
quantitatively, if that's the
Yes.
measure of success in business, who's made more money than Drake? Who's had, and let's talk about the rap space today. Who's had more hits? He has more hits than
Jay-Z.
the Beatles. He has a bigger
True.
cultural impact than Kendrick Lamar has. I just don't get it
Facts.
because if you want to talk success, you have to look at the numbers. They're subjective or they're objective. I'm sorry. They're the only objective measure, and he's got everyone beat. I'm a Drake
Exactly.
stan. And now
I
I'm
told
done.
you, Kendrick doesn't drop enough.
No, he doesn't. And I'm not
He doesn't
convinced this
drop
wasn't
enough.
orchestrated.
Yeah, they're both going to have streams through the roof. I don't know if Not Like Us was supposed to be this big, but they actually was just proof yesterday that Kendrick Lamar's manager wire transferred money to a guy who does bot. Like he bots pages and bots videos.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Instagram
Drake is
accounts.
the OG of that.
All right, here we go. So as of May 2024, Kendrick Lamar, his Big Steppers tour has grossed 85.4 milli,
Mhm.
not including the 16 shows in Europe and Australia. Travis Scott, his Circus Maximus tour, which I would pay $0 to ever go see, has grossed 95 million in North America, expected 100 million when it goes to Europe, and 50 Cent already over 100 milli with his Final Lap tour. So there you guys go.
What?
Drake not in the mix.
That's not true at all. You have to. What about his most recent
total.
tour?
She said total. Fred.
And I am talking total, but they must not have the numbers because that tour ended about a month ago.
I think everyone goes by Spotify streams now.
Ah,
And all you have to do is get a bunch of
That's not
thirsty
true.
teenagers to leave their Spotify on when they go to sleep at night,
nah,
and the songs keep playing over and over again.
My motto,
impressive.
my motto with the Drake conversation is argue with the numbers, not me. 'Cause the numbers, they never lie.
I'm pulling up the stream.
Yeah, every diss
Drake is
track
actually-
that
he's like
Kendrick dropped
Drake-
had better numbers than Drake's. If you want to talk about
One
numbers,
track. Okay, let's talk about hits all time. Let's talk about money earned. Let's talk about cultural
So I have
impact.
the support
I also
for
think
Natalie
Pete
here.
Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
So here it is for Natalie, the top
Barry
5. Are you
Bonds.
ready? And at the end, you will hear Natalie become a woo girl. So number 5 is Travis Scott, who's grossed 161 million in his career. Kendrick Lamar has grossed 164.5 milli. Post Malone, 245. So we're starting to leave some strangers in the dust here. Sitting at number 2, Young Hova, 430 million for Jay-Z, and then number 1 is sitting Drake, $508 million. So
Yeah,
I mean,
argue with the
obviously-
numbers.
obviously.
If
Argue
you
with the
didn't-
numbers.
if you didn't
Billboard.com.
know anything about either of the two artists and you didn't listen to the diss tracks whatsoever and you only talked about numbers, you have a fantastic point. To anybody who
my
listened to
point
the
is
tracks
fantastic from every
knows that
angle.
he got incinerated.
And I'm not saying that one track, sure, people can have that. He technically won
Uh-huh.
that rap battle. But what does
and
that matter?
Euphoria and Meet the
What-
Grahams.
what
He
does
got
that matter?
incinerated at every turn.
Would you rather
My
have
boys right here, they know.
Would you rather have $500 million or have gotten one of your songs
I'm
had more
Team Natalie.
streams?
I'm Team Natalie. on
Yeah,
that one.
I would rather have $150 million, a Pulitzer, and known that I
Ugh.
wasn't grooming teenagers.
Oh my God, let me try to get a
Yeah.
Pulitzer. I
This
got
is
an extra
hilarious
20 minutes.
because if someone offered you 150 million or 500 million, I know exactly what you would do. But I that was a noble stance, Fan. You gave that your best shot.
Thank you. I'm a
Good job.
purist. I'm a pinkies out. You know, I like the artists.
I think I could
think
win.
Kendrick's an artist.
Not to be this guy, I could win multiple Pulitzers. Like I'm looking at some of these past winners. Still photography, easy. Easy, I can win that.
What, with your iPhone?
Sure, why not? It's 4K.
I think we should see you try. Maybe make a little journey. My journey.
get
to Pulitzer
one.
Prize.
Let's prove. Let's do the Pepsi
Oh,
challenge here.
Hey, Clarence Thomas is going. I'm good, guys. Like I'm good. I can.
Well, I
win
mean,
this
it was
thing.
gifted to him by a
Ah,
billionaire.
there we go.
So now we're demeaning the Pulitzer Prize. All right.
Oh, staff of the Washington Post, they only do TikTok videos. Like I could do this. This is easy for me. Natalie Bode joining us on the show. She's excited to cover Albuquerque, New Mexico athletics for KOAT. What did you know before you got here? What are you excited to learn?
Not much
Yeah.
before I got here.
Join the club.
Just to be transparent with you, I have been to New Mexico once prior to moving and prior to my audition. That was when I was 5 years old. My dad took us to Carlsbad Caverns.
Good
and
kid.
then
Nice.
Good. Yep.
all I remember is that we also got upper crust pizza in Santa Fe. I don't know why I remember that, but I think
Those places aren't
there,
close.
there must have been. They're not. We went on a road trip.
Yeah.
I'm assuming because I don't remember any of it. I think either my dad got really mad at me or something happened, or it was like imprinted in my brain. So I'll never forget upper crust, and he wore that shirt for like 10 years following. But
It's a
when
good logo.
yeah, is it the same?
Yeah, it's the
Okay,
same still.
I'll have to go because I've plugged them today a couple times. So I guess I need to make another trip out there. But when I saw this job posting, I just sat and I kind of looked at it and I thought, okay, Albuquerque. I've never thought much about Albuquerque. Then I started to think about why. And I think it's this. New Mexico is a very underrated state. Very underrated.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And
That's
so,
why you didn't hear
Don't
anything.
ruin
Exactly.
it.
Because
and
we
I
keep our mouth
This
shut.
is for us.
And I got out here and I thought, wow, this is completely different from the rat race of Atlanta. It's beautiful. And I love Atlanta. It's beautiful. It's scenic. There's no traffic. The cost of living is lower. And the thing about the sports and the fans here is that maybe there's not an NFL franchise,
Not maybe.
but the way that the community and the fans buy in and the passion for the sport, people that genuinely care, that really moved me because it changes your coverage. And if it's important to everyone else, it's certainly going to be important to you. And people here are really passionate, and that resonated with me. So I'm excited for that.
You're going to cover the same sports you're excited about in Texas. And I'll just give you an example. Isaiah Johnson is a masochist, and he loves the Dallas Cowboys. Are you familiar with this team?
I've heard of them
Okay.
before. Yeah.
So they don't win. They've not won in your lifetime. They've not won in Isaiah's lifetime. And then before
A
then,
Super Bowl.
they
A
only
Super Bowl. They
at
haven't won a
all.
Super Bowl. They're definitely amongst the top 5 winning teams. Mahomes and Dak have the same win-loss record.
If the wild card was the
But that's-
Super Bowl, they'd be the best.
Yeah, are they
of this
amongst the top
generation.
winning teams in January or February? Because
No, over the whole regular
Oh,
season. they're amongst the
okay.
top.
So-
yeah.
That's a cool trophy. Where did they put it? Is it
No, I was just asking your criteria for winning. That's all.
the champion, like the Celtics, like the best basketball
Okay,
team,
the
way better than the
championship.
Lakers.
Okay.
The Celtics.
I mean, they're obviously the Drake,
he's trying
the
to
Drake
double
of the
jab me.
NFL. They make
Oh,
more money,
triple
but they
jab.
lose all the time.
it's the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Oh
a
my
fair
God. I
point.
You're
can't-
welcome.
Don't get me
point.
started.
Best
But
brand,
this is Drake's
worst
first
team.
loss.
Yeah, for sure.
This is
Yeah.
Drake's first loss. First off,
Well, I heard originally he started from the bottom. Like, was that not true? Is that not part of his story?
not technically, but he's in his own right, in his own way.
What do the Cowboys have
His
to do
own
to
personal
win?
battle.
Natalie, that's the question.
I get why you asked the question.
Because they won't.
If I had the answer, maybe I'd be in the front office.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, here's my thing with the Cowboys. I get it. When I was working for Bleacher Report, I did a lot of digital content day in and day out. So we talked about the Cowboys because they'd move the needle. The
Sure.
numbers, the conversation. I get it. I think they're a necessary
Evil.
just fixture in the sports media landscape. That's why they lead first take all the time, whatever. I just think it's a little played out, and Jerry Jones, it's probably played out on purpose. Oh, we're all in, and then everyone else for months is going to try and pick apart what all in means for this team. And then Dak's contract, that's why is this taking so long? That's going to lead SportsCenter. I'm not quite sure. You know what I'd rather talk about instead? Let me just turn your question
Isaiah,
around.
get
Let's
ready
talk
for
about
this.
CJ Stroud.
Okay.
Let's talk about CJ Stroud because
Google that.
I am much more excited and willing to talk about the Houston Texans and what that trajectory could be than try to answer a question that everyone is trying to answer that I actually quite frankly cannot.
I honestly, I mean, you would think that I would like disagree with the answer, but I've said on my own little YouTube channel that I think the Texans, as of the Cowboys, really upset me last free agency. I felt like they led me on. I mean, for them to
It is a relationship. I get that. You know, there's some ebb and flow there.
Abusive.
It is because everyone in Cowboy Nation is just hoping for a running back, just anybody, and they sat there and
Well, they got one.
Yeah, they got the smallest one.
Yeah, they got the one.
Yeah, they got the little Deuce guy.
Yeah. What's his name?
I knew from Deuce Vaughn.
No,
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott. That's
Yeah.
his name. They would have got the best one out there.
I wouldn't say the best one out there.
Yeah,
Derrick
no one
Henry
else
was
would either.
definitely
You're right.
there.
I take it back.
But they were the only team in the whole entire NFL, 32 teams. They were the only team to do absolutely nothing on day one of free agency.
Now hold on.
How
They
do you
they
lose
signed a
in the
deep
first-
snapper, Zay.
Yeah.
That was on day 2.
Why don't you learn how to juggle?
That was on day 2.
Now,
They signed
Maybe
a
they
long
thought
snapper
this
on day
team
2.
should have went further, and they've got every piece they need. What's your thought about
But
that
they
answer?
but they lost.
Was
so
that a
much,
Dak
though.
problem or a Cowboys holistic problem?
No, I mean they lost Pollard. We lost Tyron Smith. We haven't re-signed Gilmore. As of right now, we're not better than we were last year, unless CD just goes for 2,000. And I mean, our best hope
you're
is to
good
trade for a
enough.
running back.
You're good enough to go 10-7, make it to the
Yeah,
playoffs,
but-
win the
and
wild
then
card,
lose
and
again.
lose your second game. Again,
Unless we go
and
get
again.
a running back. If we get a running back, we can maybe
also,
weather
to be
the
real
storm.
clear, those guys you didn't lose. They chose to leave. Like, they don't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they didn't retire.
If we open
just
this
didn't
can
pay
of
him.
worms, can you talk about Dak a little bit? I need
Okay.
your thoughts on this. Just open forum.
Okay.
Dak.
I think he has to go another year, and he has to show that he can get it done, because it's not is he good enough. I think we saw in the regular season he's good enough, but the issue is will he play good enough when we need him to play good enough? And even if we go out and he's swinging and he's throwing for 400 and he has a good game, then maybe he has a little bit of an argument. But he played terrible, and we scored about 0 points in the first half versus Green Bay. So he can't ask for a max contract. I think CD and Micah should be ahead of Dak on the importance list, at least for this offseason.
And that's why I asked you, I was sort of joking, but when it comes to postseason play, that's why I asked you, is that a Cowboys problem or is that a Dak in the postseason problem?
That was a Dak thing for multiple reasons. The offense came out flat. If you're a leader who's wanting the most money of all quarterbacks, you can't have your offense come out flat. And he also came out flat. And again, I mean, you score 0 points. That's a him thing, because the weeks leading up to that, he was playing lights out.
You will,
And then he just
oh, go ahead, finish up.
chokes.
Yeah, I was going to.
Yeah, he just choked.
You will undoubtedly be able to catch Natalie on Zay Talks whenever they break down the Cowboys at length sometime come this fall. Natalie Bode, final words before we let you go, friend. Also, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I don't really have a final statement. Yeah, that's just having back maybe.
Yeah.
People be nice to me, please. I'm new. If you liked Bethany better, that's
Right.
okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I love Bethany as well. Yeah, no final words. Just thanks for having me, fellas. Great time at the YMCA.
Yeah. Please don't give my phone number to fans. That's a big one. That's a weird thing that happens in this.
So I needed to say that.
No, that's what
Oh.
I'm telling you.
For you. Oh, so
The-
people are gonna ask me for your
Oh,
number.
it's the weirdest small circle of like
You're
here.
like that around here?
Oh, the whole city
Wow.
is like that. Hey,
You have it like
hey,
that. That's crazy.
you know Natalie Bode, right? Yeah, I know Natalie Bode. Hey, Can I click her cell? Is she cool? Can she come cover my kid's
You're
soccer
saying
event?
people are going to ask for mine?
They'll ask you for mine. They'll ask you for Vans. They'll ask you for everyone.
That's why you get a work phone.
No. What
Oh,
year
God.
is this? We're only on the K2
come on.
phones.
Yeah.
Don't work like that.
Well, okay.
We're calling Josh Suchon's personal cell phone where we get back from the break, is we're going to celebrate the life that is Willie Mays on one of the saddest days that I think I've seen in the world of professional baseball thus far this year. Natalie, Bode, thank you so much. Where we get back, more 2 Men On live from the Cloud YMCA on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This
Big thank you to Natalie Bode, who joined us on the program for the first 30. She was very good.
She was lovely.
Yeah, she was
Albuquerque
very
is
good.
going to like her.
They will enjoy her doing sports things here in town. Also, weekend sports is like the destination one. That's where all the games are.
Yeah.
That's the better one.
Go do stuff.
Isaiah, as you bring down the music, we will announce officially with great sadness that San Francisco Giants legend, Hall of Famer, for most of his life, the greatest living baseball player that was on this planet, Willie Mays, has passed away at 93. Joining us on the program is our personal friend, Josh Suchon, who's also the broadcaster for the Isotopes, who worked alongside Willie Mays, or at least in his presence at his time with the Giants. Josh, welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
Thank you. Still doesn't seem real that Willie Mays is no longer with us, but I always love talking about Willie under any circumstance, so thanks for having me.
You have multiple times said, say hey to me. I thought that was nice.
Well, you know, when you're around Willie Mays, I mean, I don't want to oversell my relationship with him, right? I covered the Giants from 2000 to 2003 as a beat writer. And the thing about Willie Mays is that he was just always around. It wasn't like a big deal that he was at the ballpark. He was there almost every single day. And so you would just see him, and the way that you would say, hi, Fred. Hey, what's up, Van? You would say, hey, Willie, as you walked by. You know, that's just what you did. Whether you ever saw him play or didn't see him play. And Willie was just always in a good mood. He never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. He was just so much fun to be around.
You know, 93 is one hell of a run for a human being, especially one who grew up in his times. I didn't hear anything about his health declining or him being sick. I just saw that he wasn't going to be in person at the Rickwood Field game on Thursday. Did you hear anything about anything coming for him?
Well, when I heard that he wasn't going to be there, I immediately thought the worst, because this game is being played because of Willie Mays,
sure.
Right? Like, this is where Willie played in the Negro Leagues, and this is all about celebrating Willie Mays' life. So the only reason why Willie was not going to be able to make it is because he was not doing well. And I remember just immediately thinking, oh no. And it was still a shock when the news came yesterday. It came as I was broadcasting the Isotopes game, but I think it wouldn't have been as much of a shock if, say, this had happened 2 months before or even 2 months from now. But just, look, this whole thing in Birmingham was because of Willie. And so you kind of had a bad feeling.
What was it like whenever not just you, the media, but players or fans of the game were around he at the ballpark when he was, as you just described it, hanging around?
He turned everybody into a kid, no matter what your age was, no matter what your occupation was, whether you saw him play or just watched the videos and heard the stories. Everybody became a kid. Everyone just stopped in their tracks. They just wanted to be around him. They never wanted the conversation to end. That's just, you want to say hello, you want to just get him going, you want to be respectful and not bug him, but you want to just listen. And you love it when more people just bring up questions to just keep him going, because it's not just what he did on the field, it's how he did it on the field. It's just the joy that he brought to people around him. And so you just wanted to keep feeling that joy, just keep radiating that joy when you were around him.
Didn't have it as hard as Jackie Robinson, but Willie Mays is no stranger for the pulse of the country at the time. Can you talk a little bit about him being one of the grandfathers of the transition to accepting people from different cultures and backgrounds in sports and especially in the country?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely not always easy for Willie, right? I mean, I want to say that he was a teenager when he went and played for his first professional team. And it was the first time that, he was the only black player on an otherwise all-white team, and certainly heard lots of racial taunts. When he made his debut with the Giants, that was 1951. That was 4 years after Jackie Robinson. He still heard it plenty. When the Giants moved to San Francisco, there was stories in the newspaper about how people did not want Willie Mays living in their neighborhood. in San Francisco. Willie was not 100% accepted by Giants fans immediately. And I don't know how much of it was because of the color of his skin, but more so because they perceived Willie as that's New York star. And I think San Francisco Giants fans gravitated to Willie McCovey and Orlando Cepeda because they came up as San Francisco Giants and they felt like, this is our guy, whereas Mays is New York's guy. And then once the Giants had been around long enough and he continued to play at the elite level that he played, then Willie transitioned from being a New York Giant to a San Francisco Giant to just a giant of the sport. And he was never one who was going to go like picketing. He was never one who was going to like go marching. He wasn't going to, go campaigning for any type of politician. His way was just being himself and just wanting to help out kids as often as possible and just making people feel good about themselves when he was around you.
Do you personally know Dave Fleming?
Yes.
Okay. Did you at all listen to his broadcast yesterday?
I have not. I saw every time that I saw the tweet, I was just in a place where I knew that it was going to be really good and I wanted to make sure I could focus. So no.
It is as good of a, with lack of words, like choked up, emotional delivery of news that I think you can do professionally. And I think you specifically, Josh, will have an appreciation for it. It is a beautiful little piece of live radio.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because Dave is phenomenal at what he does. He's worked for the Giants for an extremely long time now. He lives in San Francisco. He knows what it's like to see Willie Mays, to just walk in the clubhouse and there's Willie just hanging out in the equipment office, just hanging out in the clubhouse, holding court, just talking. And so I'm sure that Dave has spent a lot of one-on-one time around Willie. And, Dave went to college at Stanford, and I feel like when you grow up in the Bay Area, as I did, like Willie's last year was the year that I was born. So I never came close to being able to watch him play. But Willie just holds this incredible power where people just always tell stories about Willie. And his name and his number is everywhere. Like they opened up a restaurant when the Giants New Ballpark opened, and they just named it 24, right?
Sure.
They just named it 24. The address of the ballpark was Willie Mays Plaza. Before cell phones, when you were meeting somebody at the ballpark, people just said, I'll meet you at Willie Mays. I'll meet you at the statue for Willie Mays. That just became the de facto place. You just went to Willie Mays' statue, and that's where you met your friends. So that's what you did before cell phones. And it's just the power that Willie had through all of these years, through all of these generations, and it's going to continue long after he's passed.
Josh, give us real quick before we let you go, give us the one anecdote. Give us the one or maybe the first memory whenever you heard the news of you and Willie Mays.
To me, Willie Mays means spring training.
Yeah.
Because spring training doesn't begin until Willie Mays arrives. And then when Willie Mays arrives, that's when you know spring training has arrived. And one year he's working with Kevin Mitchell on transitioning from third base to the outfield. And oh, by the way, Kevin Mitchell won MVP that year. And another year, he's there telling Barry Bonds, it's okay. You can break all of my records. I want you to break all of my records. And Barry's saying, like, no, I want to stop just before your records. And Willie says, you're crazy. You're stupid. Break all of my records, right? But that's when spring training begins. When Willie Mays shows up and he's working with guys and talking to guys and just hanging out. And that's when you realize baseball is here. Everything is right with the world again because Willie Mays is in spring training.
Josh, thank you for taking a couple minutes with us. Thank you for talking to us about your friend Willie Mays. And I'm sure we will revisit this topic often throughout this week. And I would assume the rest of the time we know each other.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to all of those conversations.
Josh Suchon, you're the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sush.
When we get back from the break, we finish hour one, and we got a fun guest. It's Two Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
This report.
Welcome back to the program. Andy Talmadge joining us. Let's
What
go. Andy is helping the YMCA with, well, we're going to bike till our legs fall off. Is that what you said?
Bike till our legs fall off. That's a great way to that's a great tagline. No, it's called Ride for the Y.
Oh, I like that one even better.
Ride for the Y. You ride, kids thrive.
Aw.
So, I know. Every year we do this this event, and this year it's going to be in September. So we're talking about it way in advance.
Okay.
And it's a 4-hour event, and teams of 6 sign up for an hour-long slot. And they get to just ride with one of 4 instructors. There'll be a theme for each class, each hour. If we have enough demand, we'll add a 5th hour on there. If you want to sign up for more than one slot, you can as a team. You can sign up as an individual. So what we're looking for now is to make it fun for the participants.
Let's go.
We're looking for the sponsorships, right?
Yeah.
We're looking for people that donate prizes. Like, for example, we have a weekend getaway at an Airbnb as one of the prizes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's for like most miles, most laps, most what?
No, you pay to ride, and the money goes towards scholarships for kids and families that can't afford any programs or memberships, and not just here at the Y, but around other sports venues if they can't afford the registration fee for a camp or something.
What's the best way for people to support?
They can call at 505-595-1515. My extension is 4103. They can leave me a voicemail, or they can email atalmadge@ymcacnm.org.
Not so bad.
Not so bad.
How many
Or get a hold of your boys.
Yeah, we'll get
Like,
you
we'll
in there.
connect you in there.
100%.
Yeah, it'd be so easy.
It's really fun to get a team of 6 friends together.
Yeah.
Like,
And leave 5 of them in the dust.
well, unlike my old Fit Fun triathlon training group, I'm like, all right, you guys, we're all going to do this together.
Yep.
Right? So
Can I
I've
get
got
12 friends and cycle less?
you can.
Okay, let's do that.
But it's still going to
I'm
cost
so
you.
out of shape.
Now we'll get you through it. We know how to get you through it. As instructors, we know how to get everybody through it.
Nice.
It's not about killing you.
Right.
If you want to be killed, then come to one of my classes on a regular day.
Oh, let's go.
Andy, thank you so much for sitting down with us for just a minute. David Weise, Carl, the New Mexico United, joining us when we get back.
Awesome.
They're gonna play that team from Mexico tonight.
Oh, nice.
I have to learn the name of the team.
Yeah, what is that?
I think it's Juarez. Is it Juarez?
What is?
Juarez?
Yeah.
That's the bad one, right?
Ooh.
Good, depending on where you're from, depending on which cartel you're born into.
Did
there
they
we go.
play last year against United here?
I think Monterey did. Also, don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Andy,
I thought it was Mexico, and they just slaughtered us.
dang.
Yo.
That was last year, though. It's a new team this year.
Andy,
Luckily, it's one city, not the whole country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
thank you so very much. When we
Thanks,
get back,
guys.
the VP DWC of your New Mexico United, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Castilla. This is Two Men On with Van Nunley and Fred Slow.
Mike's hot.
Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to McLeod YMCA. We've not done a minute of this program without a guest yet today, Van. And we continue that trend with DWC, the VP of Footy, your friend of the show, and Director of Fan Experience in New Mexico United, David Weise Carl. Welcome. I don't have David if he's there.
Should be here. David, you there?
He probably took a call. He's probably on the other line.
Okay.
Here I am.
Oh,
Hey,
You
DWC.
know, it helps when you unmute when you're on the phone. That typically helps for audio purposes.
Man, I wish I would have heard your
always
first joke.
thinking, he probably was real funny out the gate.
Yep.
Probably said a real nice thing about Willie Mays.
Yep.
It's all missed.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say about Willie Mays that hasn't already been said. But one of the greatest to ever do it. Controversy list, obviously not in the steroid era, but absolute legend and a huge loss for the game.
Yeah, it is a huge loss. Like the greatest, oldest Hall of Famer, and he was the greatest living baseball player.
Correct. And
We
correct.
have to today name a new greatest living baseball player. That's the thing we have to do.
Yeah, Bryce Harper.
Okay. Ted Williams, Frozen Head.
Oh, that's a winner.
It went bad. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't know if you saw those stories.
Oh, was he in that group that went bad?
Yeah, it went bad.
Oh, bummer.
The New Mexico United host.
Was he anti-Semitic like Disney was?
Of course.
Okay, makes sense.
How couldn't he? I think he was the John Rocker of his generation.
Oh my God! Easy on his name.
New Mexico United
On the subway and everything.
is set to host its third ever international friendly, and it's a big one as FC Juarez comes to Isotopes Park. This is crazy, DWC.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, FC Juarez is an incredible organization. They're the top flight in Mexico, Liga MX, and they're coming to the lab tonight, 7 o'clock. We are literally less than 2 hours away from kickoff here at the lab, and it's going to be an absolute blast. A lot of people coming. It's going to be a packed house, but there are still some tickets available.
Is there extra motivation to demolish Juarez because they're so close to El Paso?
Good question.
Well, it's funny you mention that. They are also, their ownership group is the same group that owns El Paso Locomotive. So the answer to that is yes, absolutely. They are sister clubs, they call themselves. And when one of their staff members told me that today, I said, well, we don't like your sister club. But yeah, I think that does provide a little extra, if the guys needed it, little extra motivation to come out 6-0 winners tonight.
I mean, I think the vibe of the energy of the building. I think the fan experience. But I think what the fans are going to see for the first time this year is Coach Quill actually evaluating a little differently. 2 out of the last 3, my friend, have been tough for the United.
Yeah, he has lost 2 out of the last 3, still in first place in the Western Conference, which is important. But yeah, 100% right. And Coach Quill mentioned that in his weekly press conference this week. He is going to be evaluating. He is going to say, hey, these guys are fighting for their starting spots. Nobody is just a locked-in starter. I don't care if you're, the latest academy player who's just trying to get into the team for the first time, or you're Daniel Bruce, who's been here since day one. Everybody fights for their spots. And, they call this game a friendly, but I think it'll be anything but, because these players know that.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a really good point there. The lab is just covered in black and yellow every single match. Do you expect a little Juarez red in the mix?
Yeah, there'll be some red and green here tonight. There's no doubt about that. I think it's pretty clear that this will be the largest away crowd we've ever seen. Will there be more black and yellow than red and green? Yes, absolutely, of course. There will always be more black and yellow here than any other color. But I think it's fair to say this will be the largest away crowd we've ever seen. And, if you ever watch any of the Mexican Liga MX, you know that those fans are passionate. They're loud. They cheer just like our fans do, frankly. So I'm excited to see kind of what that looks like tonight. A lot of the teams that we play against in the USL, they don't travel as well. We have the best traveling fans in the league, and it's not even close.
There we go.
So it'll be nice to, frankly, welcome in some traveling supporters for real this time. And we're still going to be much louder than they are, because I'll take one New Mexican against any other group of people from any other place, because we're just louder and stronger and the best fans that exist.
Concur.
Now, help me understand, DWC, because I'm not the biggest soccer guy. Did I pronounce that right? I'm not the biggest soccer guy in the world.
Correct. Well done.
Rank FC Juarez in the world of Mexico soccer. Like, where do they kind of stand tier-wise?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's in just like in the U.S., in Mexico, there's different tiers of soccer, and Liga MX is the top tier in Mexico, and that's where FC Juarez plays. They are in the top division in Mexico, and Mexican soccer is some of the best soccer it's certainly some of the best soccer in North America. I mean, MLS and Liga MX go head to head all the time, and it's terrific football. And like I said, that top division Liga MX is where this team is from. It's where they play. So it's a very, very good team, a very, very tough opponent. But that hasn't stopped us in the past. We beat a very good top of the Western Conference MLS team earlier this year. I'm sure you remember in the Open Cup in Real Salt Lake. So Coach Quill always says, respect everyone, fear no one. So that's what we're going to do tonight.
How do they match up on the pitch? Can they run with us?
Yeah, so I mentioned this to Coach Quill the other day. We talked about this, and we always talk about different teams, regardless of the sport. Different teams have different styles, right? You could be a fast team, or you could be a strong team, or a mentally tough team, whatever it is. Again, pick your sport. But different leagues have different styles too. And Liga MX it's a speed league in Mexico. They play fast, they play aggressive, and they play offensive minded. So we can expect them to really put pressure on goal tonight. We're fortunate that we have one of the best back lines in the USL Championship. So it'll be a test for those guys, which I also mentioned to Coach Quill the other day. I asked him, does playing against a team from Liga MX, what do you take from that? Does that make you better as you go through the rest of the season? Because it's a very different style, right? The USL Championship is a bit more of a methodical league. We're one of the better scoring, faster teams in that league. We've got kind of more of a Liga MX style, but it'll be interesting. It'll be kind of fighting fire with fire tonight. It'll be fun.
Well, you're talking about combining the styles of play on the field, but to get here, you had to put all these blocks together to build the Jenga tower that is tonight's game. How did this come to fruition? How did these conversations start? How did these two teams decide they were going to play, and then how did they decide they were going to play here in Albuquerque?
Yeah. Well, you guys know we've played, as you mentioned at the top, Fred, we played now this is our third international friendly that we've ever played. In 2019, we played against Cardiff from Wales. Last year, we played against Sunderland from England. And this year, it just kind of makes sense given our location, given our fans, given all these kinds of things. Like, why haven't we played a team from Mexico yet? It just kind of makes sense for that to happen. So year 6, we're finally getting that, checking that box and having a lot of fun doing it. But as far as kind of making it happen, it's tough. There's a lot that goes into these processes. We're fortunate that we've, over the course of the 6-year history of this club, been able to make a lot of contacts. And that includes, again, we don't necessarily like El Paso, but we know their ownership group, and that's the same ownership group as FC Juarez. So we were able to kind of work with them and say, hey, you guys want to play? And from FC Juarez's perspective, you got to think about it. They, like any international team, would always have an interest. There's always going to be an interest in breaking into the American market, right? There's a lot of money for people to make there. But there's a lot of fans to be made there as well. So the opportunity for them to break into the American market is very appealing. And then take that one step further, you have the best fan base in the USL Championship. So I'm not surprised that they wanted to come and play us.
I mean, the friends of the show are no stranger to our utter disdain for El Paso. Are we trying to start a new regional rivalry here? I mean, these guys are just like 4.5 hours down the road.
Yeah, I don't know if people realize sometimes how close Juarez is here. I mean,
Sure.
it's a simple drive. As far as you drive from here to Juarez, you're driving from here to southern Colorado. So it's not very far. But, if there's 3 teams in that 4.5 hour stretch, then let's be the best of those 3 teams.
All right, Dave. We're going to come out tonight. We're going to watch soccer. Are we trying different approaches? Are we moving guys around? Is it going to be the United I'm accustomed to, or is this going to be a fun experimental anything could happen United?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. Obviously you'll see a bunch of regulars in the lineup, I'm sure, but Coach Quill, made no bones about it. He wants to try out some of these young academy players as well, see what they can do against a top level team.
Ooh.
And, this team's going to try and win. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's always the goal for these guys. If you go out, even just to training, every single one of them is so competitive. They're putting in 2-foot tackles in drills. So they want to win. But at the same time, it is an opportunity for these guys to come out and prove themselves. And like we said before, every single player is fighting for their role right now. You lose 2 out of 3 and nobody's job is safe. Yes, we're still top of the league. Yes, we're first in the Western Conference, but losing isn't acceptable. So Coach Quill's made it very clear that nobody's job is safe, so they're going to be fighting for it tonight.
Go ahead, man.
I was going to ask the exact same thing. Go ahead.
Tickets are available tonight. You can get them on the New Mexico United website. That's newmexicoutd.com/tickets. Right there, you just click on it, takes you to SeatGeek, and lots of opportunities for tonight. Awesome. Anything we missed, Dave?
No, excited to have everybody out. Like I said, kickoff at 7 o'clock. Gates open at 6. They get started just $19.
All right, last question, and I'm so sorry because this one we always leave to the very end. What happens if weather happens?
Weather doesn't deter us unless it's lightning. So it's looking really nice right now. There's a little bit of a wind, but nothing too bad. We're not expecting any rain. We're not expecting any lightning. Lightning is the only thing that can delay us. That we play through the rain, we play through the wind.
Oh, soccer in the rain is so sweet, man.
Fun fact, friends of the show, when you buy your tickets, if you put in the promo code 2MENON, nothing happens.
Oh.
Yeah. It will not help whatsoever.
It might actually say.
And if you put that in twice, it'll stack. Those things stack.
It'll charge you double.
DWC, the VP of the footy team here in town, the New Mexico United. Thank you so much, brother.
Thanks, guys. See you tonight.
Cheers, brother.
I like him. He's very good at this. When's the last time you watched like a sporting event in the rain? Me and you went to the Astros at Rockies in the snow a couple years ago.
We were watching baseball in a snow globe on 420.
Super sweet.
Yeah. And one of us might have had a little Denver jazz cabbage in their system.
Not me.
And it literally looked like a snow globe. And I was freaking out there for like a half inning, but I got my bearings.
Isaiah, we went to Astros Rockies game, and this would have been 2021 because this was the first time I had drank after I had COVID.
Yeah.
So I got COVID-19. You know my whole story. I was in the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And after I got out, I hadn't like really celebrated being alive until we went to this Astros Rockies. And it was like COVID rules and stuff.
Yeah, everyone was spread out.
Yeah. And me and Van get as just as schwasted as any human beings could possibly get.
Accurate.
And we're at the top of our lungs, Isaiah. Just number one, I'm real happy to not be dead. That's a big part of where I was. But anyways, long story short, that's when I got my first $120 Uber fee for throwing up.
Wow.
We were working this whole section of the stadium. I had an Astros jersey on, obviously, because I rep.
Yeah.
And then Fred was gifted my Lance Berkman pinstripe brick red
I still have
retro
it.
jersey,
It's
which he still has and wears to Astros and or Cardinals games.
Covered in upchuck.
And so the crowd was just roasting us, and we were like, we're into it. We're leaning into it. We're talking smack back. We're having fun. And it wasn't like, incendiary, mean smack talk. It was fun, happy-go-lucky
and
smack talk.
there were so few fans there that when they would roast us, we'd buy them a beer.
Yeah.
And then, because whatever, they run like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, like, how do we roast these guys now? And we're like, it's a lot easier when you're drinking Coors.
And then they came back with 2 beers.
Yeah.
And it was a vicious cycle. And Fred got sick. He hurt his tum.
Well, and then, of course, I run into someone from St. Louis, so I have new best friends. And I'm like, yeah, we should listen to Nelly and drink for the first time in 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the worst.
What's in this shot glass? Oh, never mind. Don't answer. Gulp.
Oh, man, I'm a pro, but I was amateur hour that night for me. When we get back from the break, this is a weird sentence. We don't have a guest.
Okay. For one segment. Then we have a guest.
I guess. It's 2 Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610. Sports Animal.
It's time to rock. It's time to rock. It's time to rock. We go hard in the block. It's time to rock. It's time to rock. It's time to rock. Yeah. Yo, the party didn't start till my crew walked
Welcome
in.
back to the McLeod YMCA. Welcome back to Two Men On. We've had a lot of fun guests today. Big thank you to all of them, including Natalie Bode. She's the new weekend sports anchor at KOAT. Our friend Andy Talmadge, who was so nice to give us a little bit of information on what's going on here at the Y. Josh Suchon, who shared his stories of Willie Mays, and David Weise, who is getting the lab ready tonight for the big international friendly against Juarez FC Juarez. Okay, Van. We're talking about Willie Mays passing, and I'm not trying to hit like a too soon topic here. That's not my energy.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Willie Mays passing. Who, Van, is now the greatest living baseball player? Because it was Willie Mays. He was at 93 years old. He was the oldest Hall of Famer. I believe it was universally understood he's the greatest living baseball player up until today. So in your opinion, Van, and Isaiah, I know you're a little limited in this, so feel free to sit back. Who is that guy? Who's the greatest living baseball player?
You're going to hate this answer, but there's only one real answer.
And you're not going to throw out steroids, because there is only one real answer unless you throw out steroids.
If you throw out steroids, we could have a different conversation.
Yeah.
There's a few good answers, but there's only one real answer, and it's Barry Bonds.
Yeah. And that's a shame, because he cheated the game. And he stole records from books that were really important, and now they're not. And he was able to capitalize off the momentum that was built in 1998 from Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, who, by the way, defamed the game, who, by the way, also ruined the game, but saved the game's life.
Sure.
Baseball was dead. 4 years after the strike, it couldn't draw on TV. The Yankees weren't the three-peat that, well, they ended up being literally that year.
Right.
But they weren't that story yet. Barry Bonds is the answer. I cannot pick someone from the steroid era. He's not the answer. Sandy Koufax, maybe? He's a pitcher, but maybe.
I mean, I got a couple that I would rank
Bench?
above Sandy
Johnny
Koufax.
Bench?
Johnny Bench is one of them.
Okay. George Brett?
Mike Schmidt is one of them.
Oh, good answer.
Mike Schmidt's a legend. And if we're talking about like the mystique and personality of Barry Bonds without the steroids, we're talking Ricky Henderson, baby.
Oh, I don't like that. Yeah, I mean, personality. He's the most famous.
Yeah.
He's the most famous living baseball player. I think Ken Griffey Jr. is in the mix.
Yeah, but I think that he's too young of a generation. He's just not like, it seems like too fresh. Like if we could talk about greatest baseball player, like mystique aside, a guy that didn't have a lot of mystique but was always the best guy on the field, your dude Albert Pujols.
So Albert Pujols is an interesting one because the 700 Club, if you haven't, Isaiah, I think you're a good example of this, in front of the show that maybe hasn't loved baseball the way that you need to make love to it. The Albert Pujols getting to 700 story is as romantic of a story in Major League Baseball that you will ever witness, read, watch a documentary on, whatever. Isaiah, if you want to just cover your body in goosebumps, like rediscover the Albert Pujols chasing 700 story. It's the best.
It's something that I definitely need to, I could go recap, but I will say just because my hometown was a couple hours south of Chicago, my schools were always 50-50 Cubs.
Had to be.
It was Cubs, Cardinals, and then White Sox. So there was Pujols jerseys all over. So even
sweet.
Before I really knew baseball or like any players, I think Pujols was the main guy I knew. I don't think there's anybody bigger than Pujols, walking around my town.
Yeah, and in St. Louis, he should have been the one forever.
Sure.
Stan Musial's the guy. Bob Gibson's the guy. There's two guys. There's three guys now. And I haven't said this sentence right now. There are three. Stan Musial, Bob Gibson, Yadi Molina. Those three guys are in a tier that is so much above every other St. Louis Cardinal ever. Albert Pujols is a better baseball player than all three of those guys I named.
Sure.
And he's not, because of the time he spent away in LA, American League and National League. And I think that's part of Willie's success, right? Same team, same number.
Mm-hmm.
And greatest living baseball player, there's not like Albert was going to take that from him while he was alive.
Right.
You know, that wasn't going to happen to Willie Mays. If we said it was Albert, we could take that from him eventually with a Mike Trout or a Shohei Ohtani or whatever fill in the beat. Do any of those guys surpass the names you just named? Mike Schmidt, Sandy Koufax, George Brett?
Well, I mean, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
For sure. He's already the best to ever do it. But he's still playing, so we can't talk about him with that kind of legend as we can, like with a retired guy or a living Hall of Famer. It's not the same. Like, as far as like me being a 90s kid, I'm 42 now. Like, I grew up, like, I remember 1989 when Ken Griffey Jr. emerged and immediately started dominating, changed the culture of baseball. That's a great answer.
Well, and not just baseball, brother, but like culturally changed it. Like for a long, long time, if you wore your hat backwards, you were a hoodlum and you were a gangster.
Correct.
And those are the only two people who wore their hats backwards. And then Ken Griffey Jr. turned his hat around and he cracked dingers from the sexy side of the plate. And then every single kid, including you and me and Isaiah and anyone that's ever held a baseball bat, has done the exact same thing. He's swingman. Like, he is a logo. There's a silhouette of Ken Griffey Jr. and you go, oh, that's baseball.
For sure.
I think it's Ken Griffey Jr. Also, of this list, him, Albert Pujols are the only two guys I ever saw play in person. And it was something different.
To me, it seems too fresh because like he was in during my time. So when I look at like legends, I got to think about like what little tiny, short, chubby, redheaded Van idolized when he was a kid. And that's the generation before that. We still got, Hall of Famer, Iron Man, Cal Ripken Jr. We still got him representing baseball. We still got the aforementioned Ricky Henderson. And I mean, Ricky Henderson's impact on baseball is I would say as important as a Ken Griffey Jr., but we just didn't grow up through it.
That makes me think it's Sandy Koufax. If I'm using the definition you just gave.
But that was like a really short peak. Like, I can make an argument. I can make you an argument that Sandy Koufax is Terrell Davis. He was the best on the planet for like 5 years. There was no arguing, but there was nothing before or after that.
Oh, Kurt Warner.
Sure, Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
So help me out, boys. As you know already, I'm not the biggest historical baseball fan, but from what I've been hearing, how come the answer is not Shohei?
I think because he's still playing.
Okay, so and then you also, I'm guessing like legacy, and there's a lot more things that go into it.
Yeah, building a whole career.
Okay. I was gonna say I've been hearing that the best ever was Shohei.
Yeah, and there's like a weird conversation because Willie Mays played Isaiah forever, and I'm paraphrasing here, and it's a little anecdotal, but I believe his hero was Joe DiMaggio, and Joe DiMaggio didn't play long enough, and you end up in a conversation where if Joe DiMaggio had been more fortunate to play longer and live a longer life, then Willie Mays Hayes wouldn't have took over that moniker so early. And I think not that Willie Mays Hayes was blocking an active player like Shohei or blocking an active player like Mike Trout, but when you start talking about like those two dudes and then you compare them to dudes today, it's just not their mystique wise. It's not their legend wise. It's not their, and maybe it's because everyone's so covered with television and radio and the internet. Maybe some of that allure is never capturable. Maybe it's for always gone,
so it's kind of like an Emmett Barry Sanders situation.
Oh, which one was better? Emmett played longer. Well, Barry was better at a short burst. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's very much that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so good comparison.
Yeah. Well, and Walter Payton.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are guys that the best running back season I have ever seen, no punchline, is Jamal Lewis for the Baltimore Ravens in 2000. That's the best running back season I've ever seen. He's not the best running back of all time, but I've never seen a dude lead a team the way that he did but he's not the best of all time.
What about AP coming off the ACL?
No chip.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. If we're gonna say like you didn't personally lead your team to success, I'm going LaDainian Tomlinson all day.
Priest Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are dudes. If we were using the running back comparison, that's why I think the Jamal Lewis one is so special.
Sure.
2,000 yards.
Yeah.
A joke quarterback. Not a single wide receiver you can name.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Super Bowl champs?
That's the same thing with Terrell Davis. Did it back-to-back years.
Well, John
Elway was a shell of himself. John Elway was a shell of himself. Ed McCaffrey wasn't that dude.
Smith.
No,
I mean, they had
it
talent.
was all Terrell Davis. He put that team on his back for 2 years.
Shannon.
Terrell Davis and that above average defense.
Shannon. I'm telling you.
Mm.
Also,
those are 4 or 5 legit players. Fred just named.
Yeah, but it was all Terrell Davis.
If you want to talk, and if you want to talk about Terrell Davis's success, you have to. I'm never this guy. You have to talk about that. That's kind of the last incarnation of like road grading offensive lines. Like no one has done it since the way the '98 Broncos did it with like what are all those dudes? Mark Schlereth,
yeah,
and what was the guard's name that was so gnarly and gross? It don't matter. But the point is like they took a lot of pride in hurting others, and again, miss me with your ats. Don't at the show. Linemen today play to not blow out their knees. You know, it's a different game.
Give me 2014 Dallas.
Of course.
One of your answers, all jokes is, but to be honest though, actually jokes aside, there was 3 Hall of Famers in the offensive line. Like 3 guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame were on that line.
I think
Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. Travis Frederick without that disease would have been better than Jason Kelsey.
What number Super Bowl were we just at? I don't remember. 51?
If it is a 50 something.
52? 53?
This isn't a Cowboys.
54?
58. LVIII.
Okay, 58?
Maybe.
Because I can only count from that number of teams. Because if you don't win the championship, like I don't care about your stats on your team. I don't care about the players on your team. You had to be the best team in your sport that year for me to consider you to be anything when we're talking all-time list.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, like Danny don't make no list for me. Like, cool, he could sling it. Cool, he was the only guy doing it in the 80s. Dan Marino don't make a single list. Jamal Lewis makes a list, which is weird.
I know Eli's so happy he got.
Oh, he's on the list twice.
Without those 2, Eli would be drastically dropped down the list of all time.
He'd be Peyton's little brother.
Yeah.
When we come back,
go
ahead.
He had that insane throw. I'll give him Eli just because of that Super Bowl throw on the sideline.
We interviewed David Tyree one time on the show and didn't ask him about it.
Really?
Like, where do you like to vacation?
Yeah, me and man are like, we're not asking about it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's no way we're asking about it. That's all he ever talks about. I feel like I was like, hey, let's ask him if it would have been cooler to catch passes from Peyton Manning. Or I had like the dumb, but I never got to it. It was like I put all these dumb jokes in my back pocket and I never use them.
Yeah, best Manning, Arch or Archie.
Yeah. Best segment of the day will be after this because we're going to talk about Justin Timberlake. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. I haven't heard this officially yet, but I would assume it to be true that Justin Timberlake had to flex his "Do you know who I am" card.
Well, it doesn't work if the cop arresting you is 20 years younger than you.
It also doesn't work if whenever you say it, you go, "You know who I am."
You tell the officer, text your mom real quick. I bet she likes me.
Hi, see what CD's in your mom's car right now. That's what he said. Hey, I'm a cop in the Hamptons.
Uh-huh.
God, I would say that'd be the worst job. Justin Timberlake arrested for DWI.
I don't know what state it was in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Or what state he was in.
This is a reminder that it's always cheaper to Uber. It's always safer to Uber.
Years and years ago, I saw a stat that DWI, all the fines, the classes, the lawyer,
the
all that,
time.
it's worth about 1,200 Ubers. So instead of get a DWI, get you an Uber, do that 1,200 times, don't get a DWI.
And like, this is a big deal for like Isaiah because he knows who Justin Timberlake is. For us, this was like Billy Joel for a lot of years. Like, we already saw this big pop star like ruin his own.
Sure.
Like, and now he has to have a Renaissance tour.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
bad news. His Renaissance tour was just recently canceled because they weren't selling any tickets.
it's still going on in Denver.
Okay. Well, good for Denver.
Yeah.
An aggressively Anglo city of Denver is going to buy Justin Timberlake tickets.
Here's the real reason I bring this up. You guys are you two are close to me in my rap game knowledge. You know, I'm number one. You two, very close after me. When the body cam footage of this comes out, the amount of remixes.
Oh yes, please.
Like,
yes, please.
I am so excited.
Are you excited for the new intro to our program starring Justin Timberlake's arrest video?
I want you guys, and I'm not a betting guy, but I will take any bet that video has "Do you know who I am?"
100% has it.
100%.
Yeah. He's like, but my multi-million-dollar mansion is just right down the street. Don't you know who I am?
And then Officer so-and-so says, "Oh yeah? Cry me a river."
Cry me a river. Yeah. You could tell your license, bye.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know who's in trouble tonight?
Yeah.
It's gonna be me.
Yeah. If there's a place for you to bring sexy back, it's not the county jail. Yeah.
You know what I also heard was said? The cop said, "You have a court date," and he said, "I'll be in my suit and tie."
Those are all very good. These are all very good. Also, what if his defense? What's the over/under on his defense being busting out a dance move to prove he's not drunk? Like, that seems
so sweet.
That seems like an approach he would
So
take.
sweet.
Are you sure you're not a dancer? No, I'm just drunk. Please. It's over for him though. His shine is gone, right? Like, it's gone.
No. Yeah, come on.
After all the Britney stuff, taking her virginity, taking her firstborn child, and now this, like, it's ruined.
Canceling almost all the dates on his tour. Not a good look.
Yeah.
He crushes it when he's with NSYNC. People want that little bite of nostalgia. They don't want solo Justin Timberlake.
No, they don't want it unless he's with Jay-Z. I don't want Justin Timberlake.
Some good features.
If he comes out and he's like, "I'm bringing taxis back," what?
Oh, he should be.
Like, that's what he needs.
If he did like a Trolls 2 soundtrack, like, I'd be into that.
I got my hands behind my back. What?
The officer told him, "You know what goes around comes around, J. Timms."
Oh. Here's what I would have done. This is my real thought. What he should have done is pay Joey Fatone to be his driver. And then he would have been set up for success for the rest of his career. And Joey would have made a nice little living.
He would have loved it.
Yeah.
But now he's got to call his lawyer, say, "Hey, remember all that Britney Spears stuff you just took care of?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got another job. And I want you back.
That's a good one. I'm trying to figure out a joke, and I'm ruining it because I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
Will you guys help me do his jingle voice into a punchline here from Saturday Night Live when he was
Okay.
the hot dog?
Oh. And bring it on down to Omeleteville.
Bring it on down to Liquorville. Like, that's what I need. Like, what is the...
Look, he could have just like called an Uber first off, or he could have had a couple less drinks. But you know what? Just can't stop the feeling.
I like that.
Yeah.
So is this
You
true,
guys are quoting
Isaiah?
up Justin Timberlake songs and just firing off the jokes right now?
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
that's okay, yeah.
Well, because Isaiah told me when the court date was, he says, it's gonna be May.
Good lawyer, push it off to next May. Man,
Just pay for it. That's all I'm trying to say.
I mean, if he shows up to court, he better have on a suit and tie.
It's Isaiah already did that one.
Oh, my bad, Zay.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Low hanging fruit there.
Do you, Isaiah, have a contact for Jessica Biel? Because I will, in her time of need, I could be there for her.
I don't have a contact for her.
Okay, it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Just slip slide into the DMs.
I think she follows me on Instagram.
EMAC and Showtime join us after this. We're going to talk a lot about their football program coming up. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610, live from the McLeod YMCA, the sports animal. Welcome back to the program. We're about to get smacked up. EMAC to Showtime. We're here. Let's go, boys.
What
Welcome to the program. How are you?
Thanks. Doing good.
Yeah, you gonna whisper? Put that thing on your mouth.
Where's that?
You got,
Hold on.
you got a lot of confidence here. You got a big football camp coming this weekend. Talk to me about it, boys.
Yeah, so third year. We're excited.
Yeah.
Every year we're trying to get better and do more and make it more exciting, bring more guests, just bring more opportunities, to the city and for the kids. That's what we do it for.
Schmack 3, third time, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me turn your mic on. I screwed that up. Keep going. Van?
We got a special guest coming.
Yep.
We couldn't talk about it last time you guys were on air, but could finally talk about it now. Who's the special last-minute guest coming in?
Good old Zech Gentry, Albuquerque's
Let's
own.
go.
Yeah, we're very
Yeah,
proud and pleased to have him.
Is he coming as a quarterback or a tight end?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah. He can do it. But that's the thing, right? And you're doing it out of Bernalillo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that facility is just about as fun as it can be.
Yeah, it's nice. So they got new fields.
Yeah.
Everything's set up, the whole stadium vibe.
And it's for what age groups?
We're doing 5 all the way to high school.
There we go.
Yeah, so we're going to have some fun with the little kids. And then we also got some college coaches coming. We want to start dipping into that right there.
And everyone's performing or everyone's working out at the same time? How do you decide what music to play if it's 5-year-olds to high schoolers?
As long as it's edited.
Yeah.
So keep the vibes, the vibes high and everything going.
I mean, the 5-year-olds got cell phones with Spotify on it now. Anyways, they got the same access.
They probably know what's popping more than we do.
Yeah, for sure. Ask them what the playlist is going to
be. Bring your own playlist.
Where can, if you're interested, where can kids, well, their parents presumably, where can they sign up? How can they become a part of it?
They're right on the website. They visit our website, www.schmackathletics.com. Once you hit the site, you'll click our link to take you to Eventbrite and get them logged in.
Obviously, the social media is a very good outlet for this. Zeke McPhearson will be there. You said Zech Gentry is going to be there for sure, so that's super cool. Who else is going to be in attendance?
Like I said, we got some coaches. We got coach from Iowa Western come in. We're supposed to have a guy from JUCO from Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that's one of the things that we're trying to get into now and add is just try and get some more exposure for some of these high school kids out here. Just do what we can.
Do you need Isaiah to come down there and talk about the importance of wearing a mouth guard? Do you need Isaiah to come and do that?
Yeah.
Isaiah, could you be that cautionary tale of how important it is to wear your mouthpiece?
Yeah, I definitely could because I consistently would leave it on the sideline because, in college, especially, and you get on the field, you don't know what, it's not guaranteed you're going to get back on. So when I get on there and I realized my mouthpiece was had fallen out my face mask and was on the sideline somewhere, and I'd look over and just be like,
"Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Rock out without it."
Honestly, a lot of guys don't wear mouthpieces. I didn't wear mouthpiece in college
at all.
No,
I got it.
Yeah, I never wore mouthpiece in college.
I'm a big fan of guys being able to be safe while they're out there, And I know we talked about this last time, EMAC, when you were here. You guys teach the game the right way, right? So everything you do is based in a science of safety. Talk a little bit about what you're going to introduce to young adults that are coming out this weekend.
So, as far as the kids go, we try to break it up into 3 groups.
Yeah.
So we got the little guys, and then we got the middle school age and the high school. So with the little guys, we're definitely focused on having fun with them, and then, as they get older, it kind of gets a little bit more serious. And that's one of the things that I like to think that makes our camp different is that, we're not just out there running drills. We like to break it up into positions, right? So what do you do? What position do you play? We want to help you get better at what you do.
Love that.
Yeah. So not only are you having fun, you're learning, you're seeing guys obviously that are in positions where these kids want to get to, and they're learning in the process.
And then what do you have for the high school kids who have aspirations of continuing their football career?
So, we have a combine setup. That's usually what we do because, it's kind of the thing that when they go to these camps, they want to see your speed. They want to see all your athletic attributes, and then, like I said, we're trying to get these guys out here to see what kind of talent we have. So it's a little bit more competitive once we get to that level for those kids.
And that's kind of why we started to introduce the college coaches to kind of give them that early exposure. It's a tough market to dabble into, but we're able to get a few coaches out there. And ultimately, if you can get in front of a coach, that's the goal.
Start somewhere.
Sure.
Anyone from in-state? Anyone from UNM or New Mexico State or Eastern or Western?
We had Highlands coming, but
they changed that, didn't they?
That changed pretty quick.
Sure. Yeah, they.
And then
they don't know what they're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We had talked to Bronco.
Yeah.
And he was all about it, but unfortunately, they have a high school camp that same day. So that's one of the things we're hoping next year also is that we can start working together with some of these other things that are going on and maybe not have conflict of scheduling conflict.
So I think we talked about goodie bags last time, right? So you show up and you leave with a bunch of souvenirs saying you were a part of it.
A nice shirt. We'll have a little photo session with both the Zachs.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Autograph, towels, stickers, wristbands, all the good little things.
And then
kids are like,
is there an opportunity with like some of these measurables? Do some of the kids that are part of this, young athletes, I guess I shouldn't have said kids, do they get access to those numbers? Are they able to make those part of their personal tapes or whatever they submit to colleges?
That's something that we're, obviously trying to add as well. So, with the high school stuff, it's a tough market. So we're trying to make slow progress, but definitely, trying to get these huddle links from all these
that stuff's so
kids,
cool.
right? And that way we can kind of send them out, and hopefully we can work on a database where we can keep all that information. It'll be easier to send out to college coaches and stuff like that.
Love that. One more time, all the details.
June 22nd, this Saturday, check-ins will be at 11 o'clock. Camps from 12 to 4. You can go to schmackathletics.com and register there, and you can walk up also.
Now we have a real special request to have people out. All right, so EMAC, who are we introducing here?
Yeah, little Nehemiah. This is my son. He's 5.
Okay.
And it's going to be his first year at the camp, and he has a message for everybody.
Everybody, come to my data camp. June 22nd.
See you there.
See you there.
Oh, love that.
I think that's the youngest guest we've ever had on the show.
Easily.
All
right.
Boys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Whenever we get back from the break, the laughs continue. It's our Isham Dental soundbite of the day. It's 2 Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On. Fastest 2 hours in radio. We just had it.
Flew by.
Oh, my gosh.
Flew by.
Isaiah, where's the podcast available at?
My podcast to speak of.
You're stupid funny, dude. You can get, if you missed any of the first 2 hours, including our sit down with Nadine Bode. She was real nice.
Yeah.
You'll see her on KOAT moving forward a whole bunch. Our talk with David Weise Carl, remembering the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays with Josh Suchon. All of our time we spent with David Weise Carl talking about the big soccer game tonight against FC Juarez, and of course EMAC and Showtime, who just joined us, talking about Schmack Athletics. They're doing their big camp out there on Saturday, Bernalillo. We might pop by. You know, that
I'm do my best, man.
Schedules are tough, brother. Like, it is tough.
We are wild busy. And I mean, don't let anything coming out of my mouth sound like I'm complaining about it.
No.
Because we're very blessed. We're very fortunate, but can't make them all.
No. Yeah. Well, and, you know, you try to be at the ones where you can contribute the most, you know, and, you know, if we were to talk about life for a moment, which I think is fun to do with the audience, the friends of the show, you know, as much as we're so fortunate to give every day, you know, one direction. We had a friend of the show come by earlier who was like, he's like, you guys really are Y guys. It's like, yeah, we don't just claim it, you know, it's one of those things, but you know, it's the places you can impact the most, you know, and all those kids that are going to be out there at Schmack, they're going to be handled well. You know, there's going to be a lot of coaches and professional athletes that care. They're going to give them the right attention. So that's going to be a cool experience for they. I'm lined up on the coolest meeting Saturday morning, Van. So this is not a spoiler. I'm not trying to ruin anything, but I'm just going to put it out there. Duke City Championship Wrestling is sitting down, which I own, Duke City Championship Wrestling. Go to dccwtickets.com. You can get tickets to Summer Sizzle, June the 28th at the historic El Rey Theater.
I'll be there.
Matches are already being announced. It's the debut. Miss Kath is coming up from El Paso.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, I know, right? And she's going to fight Adrian Mascara, who's going to come down from Denver. So these two powers are going to collide here in Albuquerque. It's going to be incredibly good. With all that said, so we're this Saturday sitting down with Albuquerque Roller Derby, to talk about those worlds colliding. And if you haven't just already seen the dumbest thing you've ever seen in person, be it pro wrestling or roller derby, put them together. Let's make something even weirder.
You're going to put Mr. Happy on roller skates?
I'm telling you,
is that what's going on here? Is that what we're going to do? Because I am here for it.
Isaiah's been barking at my tree to become a professional wrestler, but he doesn't bother to train or work out. So I think we put him on roller skates and then put him in a roller derby situation.
What would be unfortunate is the same thing that's keeping me from doing Duke City Championship Wrestling would also keep me from doing rollerblading, probably at a much more extreme rate. I'd actually much rather wrestle.
I would
to rely on my feet to not embarrass myself.
I mean, no matter what, you're going to end up embarrassed. I mean, healthy feet or not, roller derby that's Dunzoville, right?
In what way?
You fall every time, no matter what.
Oh, sure. I mean, you could pad up, wear a helmet.
At roller skating, blading, I'm going to say, when I say roller skating, I'm saying quads.
100%.
Okay, cool.
You have to designate blading if we're talking about inline.
So why did you say blading is in pro wrestling when Ric Flair cuts his forehead?
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Get a little razor blade, cut your forehead.
Blading.
It's
only inline for me, baby.
And it's roller skating or blading is already incredibly hard when no one's trying to knock you over. Like, you add someone trying to knock you over to this equation, you get knocked over, but then you get up again.
I see what you're doing. Never going to keep you down.
Never going to keep you down. So we're going to partner with, hopefully, we're going to have a conversation about creating the weirdest, hopefully not just a one-off event here in the city with Albuquerque Roller Derby.
I trust your vision, and I'm super excited for this.
If you friend of the show or like hey, I listen every day in the car, and I really like sports, and these guys sometimes talk about it type of guy, thank you for being a friend of the show. If you want to come to some local weird stuff that I put on, like Duke City Championship Wrestling is about as weird of an experience as you can have.
Sure.
You'll leave not sure why you feel so good.
As I state very often on this program, I don't follow WWE.
No.
I don't follow AEW.
Correct.
I don't follow New Japan. Did I get that one right?
That is correct.
I'm very proud of myself right now. But I do follow Duke City Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah, the best one. The best storylines, the best characters, and the most fun you could have at the El Rey Theater.
It has legitimate heroes in it. real life heroes are in Duke City Championship Wrestling.
Awesome. Also a well-stocked bar behind it, and I take great advantage of that. It's not a shtick, by the way. I will drink with you, friend of the show. Come to the El Rey Theater next Friday.
We got nominated for all these like awards, like best night out, best local sports, best.
So
You
cool.
get nominated for all these things, right? But I don't know if I'm breaking radio rules here. I don't know what the rules are in this. But all these things are like pay to play. Like anywhere you see like a best of the whatever.
Yeah.
There's like you got to buy a table, you got to show up at a thing, we didn't do any of that stuff.
Like for us on Two Men On, we're not about it. We're not trying to stack awards. Like we're for you, friend of the show.
Yeah,
we're here for your entertainment
or our idea of what your entertainment is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining and thanks for staying around. But as far as Duke City Championship Wrestling goes, you should apply for and win all of them.
I don't want to put in the work.
We'll have somebody else do it.
It takes the money.
Yeah.
Like, and also it's not even like a large amount of money, but it's like the concept of some of the money.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, hey, like we sit right here, right? We're at the Y. And on our table, at our broadcast table with our apron that says 2 Men On, provided to us by Graphic Connection, we have a 2 Men On championship belt.
It's super cool too.
That was just given to us.
Yeah.
Like, friend of the show, Jason York said, hey, here you boys go.
With no consent whatsoever.
No.
Yeah. But because he knew we'd like it.
He knew we'd love it.
He knew we wanted it.
And I said, this is better than an award.
For sure. You made us.
Yeah. Best of the city.
Championship.
Correct. Now, also, hear me out. There's another type of award that I am pro, and that's if you can get like an industry award from peers, that one counts for me.
Okay.
So, like, if you have like, we'll use like the NMAAs, or that's not the NMBAs, the New Mexico Broadcaster Association. Okay. So, like, if you are like what's a good example? J Bell. So J Bell is Personality of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
That's voted on by other industry people.
Sure.
Like I'm into that.
I'm familiar with her work. It's deserved.
She's very good.
Yeah.
Jeff Symbieta, The Morning Show.
Yep.
JJ Buck getting his first award.
Yep.
That stuff tracks for me because it's industry folks.
Yeah.
You know, not to brag.
Yeah.
But along with BV Today winning.
BV Today won an award.
My name's listed as an award-winning producer.
There we go. Isaiah Johnson.
Not on this program.
No, not here. But that's the one, right? A. Marie put in all that work so Isaiah can win an award.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. She walked so he could run.
She ran so Zay could jog.
Yeah. I mean, kind of jog. His foot's all weird.
Yeah.
People call every day and say, wow, this show's so much better since you got on.
That's what they say?
That's
what they say to you today on the June.
Because your mom, Zay. It was your mom.
It was your mom calling. What did they say today on your Juneteenth calls?
Why are you
I
working?
Didn't get any Juneteenth calls, actually.
They didn't know.
And I would love to have gotten that question. But yeah, we didn't do any Juneteenth calls. Actually, I don't even think it came up.
Yeah, I was at
Okay, allow me.
Yeah.
Zay, why are you working on Juneteenth?
Juneteenth.
It doesn't have to be a friend of the show. I'll do it.
You know, Biden made this federal.
You know, I've been asked by some people why am I working today, but it's not because for the reasons why you may think I was asked.
Oh, is it your birthday?
Full time? No, it was as a full time employee. Like, why are you? I guess it was an option for me to have requested.
That is correct. Yeah. But you get a different day.
Know that.
It's in the book. Read the book.
Okay.
So you can sub it for a different day. You could take your birthday.
Yep.
Oh, you mean the handbook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were referring to I don't catch this one.
Oh, like Trump's Bible?
Yeah, there it goes.
I'm pro Juneteenth. Like,
very.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Quote of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cut that one.
Hold on. Not pro that it had to exist.
It's a bummer that it exists.
It's a bummer that it exists.
Okay.
It's a bummer that happened.
Are you referring to 200 plus years of slavery as a bummer?
Yeah, huge one.
Okay. That's the word you're going with is bummer.
Put it near the top of disappointments that I've recognized.
You weren't involved
in what?
Neither of us were anywhere close
to
being
but
involved in any of that.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
I'm aware of history of this country.
My stock comes from migrant workers who settled in Carlsbad, New Mexico, so they could work in the mines.
Yeah,
we're not. Yeah.
I'm ashamed that I gave up my Protestant work ethic generations before I was born. Like, I
Sure.
get it.
Uh-huh.
Isaiah got here in a roundabout way.
Yeah, to an extent.
How far back can you go? Like, have you looked?
What do you mean by how far back?
Like on your family tree? Like, do you know?
So obviously my parents can go farther than me, and I've been told. I think it's great grandmothers as far as I can remember as a kid.
Well, sure.
But I can't go back any farther.
You're almost at that age where you become obsessed with it. Like, it happens to all of us.
Yep.
It's insane. And what really I've been thinking about, because I'd say grandmother, but I've just been thinking the other day, like how cool it would be to have like all of the men on my dad's side in the family, like all together in one room. Like, my family wasn't able to have those, some people for like Thanksgiving, they'll have like 4 or 5 generations, like all in the same room. I haven't been able to do that, but I'm like, it'd be super cool because I hear about like my grandpa, for example, great grandpa, and it seems like the temperament amongst everybody was all kind of similar. Like, I guess we were all laid back.
That's how you describe yourself?
I'm a fairly laid back guy.
Oh, survey. So
I'm off and on. I got my mother in me, so I'm
okay. Now it comes out.
Comes
Okay. Yeah, a little more truth there.
That's why it's a little up and down.
Family,
not bipolar, just
no one. You know what? That's self-diagnosed. The way you just said,
undocumented.
Yeah, we just were not
not bipolar.
Yeah, we know. We don't want to. We don't want to do anything to that community. Well, I think this is the same where you grew up, Van, and outside Houston, but it was for me in St. Louis, where family reunions are big gatherings or whatever. There were certain neighborhoods, there were certain sects of people who every 15 years they were just popping out kids.
Sure.
And it was you would have a kid at 15.
Yeah.
You become a grandmother at 30.
Yeah.
You become a great grandmother at 45.
Yeah.
You become a great.
Watch the first 10 minutes of Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
And I don't know if that's true for your families, but it was very much true for families that surrounded mine. And you would go to these, a park, and you'd see a pavilion, and you're like, how are there so many people with the last name fill in the blank? And it was
fill in the blank.
Well, maybe it's true here. I mean, I don't know. I've never been to it.
No, that's true. And it's definitely true. But what's nice is, though, as a younger kid, you don't view it as like a crazy thing or like a negative thing.
No, you don't know yet.
You get older,
yeah.
like the adults are like, oh, like, please no more.
The day the matriarch passed in my family was like the day I had to learn the rest of my family. And that was a sad day.
Right.
Like, I was like, I'm going to move. I'm going to Albuquerque. Not interested at all. My family made a bunch of money off, this is real, modifying like midget race cars for kids on dirt tracks. Like, so they would game.
Oh my God, that's the most hillbilly thing
Yeah.
I've heard in so long.
Yeah. Like, Fred, you're a good salesman, right? No, not for this.
Not for this.
I am not.
You got to believe in your product.
It's the Isham Diddle soundbite of the day whenever we get back from the break. It's 2 Men on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. It's the Isham Dental soundbite of the day.
Absolutely love Ben Rice. Line drive, and his up base hit to right field. Verdugo rounds third. They're going to hold him up. There's the first major league hit for Ben Rice, and the Yankees have the bases loaded, nobody out. How great is that? He's not even trying to hide the smile. So great. I mean, his eyes were so big during batting practice today. He's smiling running to first, right? You don't see that. Usually you see some intensity.
505-881-0422 or ishamdentalabq.com. Register there, get the free exam and x-rays. Get fixed what ails you in your mouth, though. Don't forget Medicare A and B accepted by Scott, and he will put the fingers that have been in my mouth and Isaiah's mouth into your mouth, and your mouth will look and feel as good as ours. ishamdentalabq.com. What that was, Van, was Ben Rice making his Major League Baseball debut wearing 93 on the back of his jersey, soon to be retired by the New York Yankees.
Sure.
Lacing a single to right field, and he jogged down to first, ear to ear. Immediately after he gets to first, he forces the first base coach to give him a high five. It is the embodiment of joy.
With the smile that he was flashing, I don't know if he needs the services of our friend Scott Isham at Isham Dental.
He was set.
Yeah, his smile looks pretty good so far.
First knock and first strikeout as a pitcher are such cool moments, in my opinion, Van. Because you never know what's going to happen to a guy's career. Like,
Right.
You never know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I have an equivalent emotion. I don't know if I have, like, maybe the first time I broadcast, like, my first I can remember the first professional game I ever broadcast. That was a cool moment for me. Like, I called a Landon Donovan goal one time.
Sure, that's a big one.
That was a big moment for me.
Like your first touchdown call.
No, because I was like a kid.
Yeah,
I was like
didn't resonate.
No, I was 18. And like, it's definitely the first game I ever did, so I don't remember. I remember my first kickoff for the first game I ever broadcast was between these two teams, the Granite City Warriors and the Edwardsville Tigers, and they're a big rivalry, right? And I'm the guy. I'm the voice of the thing. And the kicker for Granite City is a big boy. It's a big, hefty boy.
Mm-hmm.
And they line up for the kickoff, and I say, whatever his name was, I say, and he got all of his weight into that one. And I was underway.
Okay.
I was rocking and rolling.
Good start.
Yeah. And and I first thing I ever said on a broadcast, and but that's not this. That's
close.
This is lacing
That's
a single.
That's super close
for the Yankees in Yankee Stadium in your debut. Like, just a super cool moment for Ben Rice. So now you know.
93.
Yeah.
Don't got to worry about that one being retired yet.
There's something too about, is that professional athlete behaving the way I would behave in this situation? Because yes.
I mean, it's pretty close. Like, he didn't try to suck it down and be professional. As soon as he saw it hit grass in the outfield, it was an ear-to-ear smile.
Yeah.
He gets to first base. The first base coach is like trying to assess him on the situation. First base coach is just trying to do his job.
First and third,
and he's forcing him to give him a handshake. He's like, no, quit being professional. Give me a high five, man.
There is a stupid idea in sports where act like you've been there.
Stupid.
No, stupid.
Stupid.
Like,
enjoy yourself.
Oh, your lifelong ambition and pursuit has come to fruition?
Yeah. Let's celebrate.
Let's go ahead.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Pull out a phone. Take a selfie with the first base coach. I don't care.
Be mad they didn't send the runner from second.
Yeah. Couldn't have got your first RBI too.
I'm about that one. And then the broadcaster, like, and I don't know who it is because they just changed what they're doing over there. But thank you to the Yankees media network for that. But what it was, now we're cooking with rice. I'm like, okay, like this good call too.
Okay,
save it. If you just take whatever number they give you, right? Like whatever jersey fits.
You don't care.
You don't care.
You don't care. If you make the team next year, you make the team coming out of spring training next year, then you get your number. Right now, you're just some dude filling a hole. Do your
Mhm.
best to make an impression.
And then you end up with like all these, like immediately everyone who sucks is like, well, Juan Soto is only 4 months older than this guy. And you're like,
for
oh,
sure.
shut
Oh,
up.
don't do that. Don't be
Shut-
that guy.
Yeah.
No.
Close it up, brother.
Rice, baby in the house.
Oh, that's a good one.
Too cold.
That's a super good one. There's a idea in, I don't know, manliness. I don't know what phrase to use. I don't know, whatever. That showing joy is lame.
Oh, get out of here. Miss me with that.
It exists.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And and baseball's the one too where it's like, what this, you make, say you're debuting, say you're playing a hot corner, say you make a scoop at third, fire it across the diamond, one hopper to first, get the runner by a step, and you give a little fist pump. Like, you're going to hear it from that dugout the rest of the series. Like, in this moment, this is the one you get. Like, this is you're not showing anyone up. You're not. But it sucks now because no pitcher is bad. So it's not like the pitcher's ever been there before.
Right.
They're just, what?
I love those moments, and I love people showing true, raw emotion for their successes. Like, what kid? I don't care where he's from. I don't care if he grew up an Astros fan or a Cardinals fan. You're throwing on the pinstripes in Yankee Stadium. You know how short of a list of human beings throughout the history of time have done that? And now you're one of them?
Well, and you also end up in a situation where, and they always do this on the broadcast, and I love it. They show the friends and fam section. Like, because they do their work at that level. It's hey, his wife or girlfriend or mom or dad or all of his best childhood buddies.
Yeah,
they're all sitting right there, and they get loose. They.
One thing that's hard about
Go ahead,
it.
Zech.
Oh, really quick. I was going to say, one thing that's hard is celebration in general. So, like, a lot of times, I think it was more old school, where coaches were not even old school. There was like a little middle section. I think probably about 10 years ago, where the narrative that celebrating was like super unsportsmanlike was getting pushed. So then you had all these coaches making their players not celebrate because you were getting like penalized for it in like high school leagues and in college. But then now the NFL just allows these crazy out of the water celebrations. Colleges are giving you chains and stuff to put on if you do something. So you've got like these two different narratives that are like clashing, because you still, like, I was just on a team where, like, if you didn't walk or run the ball over to the referee and hand him the ball after a play, like, you would have to come out of the game.
Sure.
It was that close. But then you have NFL players or college players, and they're a lot more loose with it.
Good. I understand like why young coaches want to do that. You instill discipline, you play, air quotes, play the game right. But there has to be a point where a kid knows that he can celebrate and hand the ball to the referee and be back in the huddle in time. It's not a big deal. Let these kids, and that's what they are, they're kids, let them enjoy themselves and have fun. Talking about like the rareness of him, like being a baseball player, getting to Yankee Stadium. I saw a cool stat a couple days ago, and don't quote me on the exact numbers, but like Milwaukee Brewers have the smallest stadium in baseball.
Okay.
You can air quotes only 38,000 people. In the history of baseball, there's only been 21,000 and some change professional baseball players in the history of Major League Baseball. Everyone to over 120 years of baseball history. Way more than that.
Hold on. Yeah. Counting like Negro Leagues now? Or
all of them together.
Juneteenth.
If you put all of these players, 21,000 and some change have played Major League Baseball. That's not even enough to fill the stadium 3/4 full. That's such a rare group to be part of. Celebrate it. Enjoy it.
I almost wonder, like, because you're the best baseball player on earth in that moment.
Yeah.
In that moment, every at-bat you've ever had is the at-bat.
He's batting 1,000.
Yes, for that moment.
Yeah.
I guess I was being an idiot a moment ago when I was like, oh, that's exactly what I would do in those shoes. Like, that's how I would smile. That's how I would celebrate. The real thing I would do in those shoes is strike out on 3 pitches.
Okay. Yeah, you, the athlete playing against a professional, you can't even see the ball. You have less than 1/10 of 1 second to decide whether it's a strike or not, and swing at it, and put the bat on it, and hit it in fair play.
if I was to try to go out there, I would be so discombobulated. You wouldn't think that, like, you know, in football you can get hit and hurt, but nothing scares me more than the idea of getting hit by a pitch. So just the fact that that's a possibility, I have no interest in wanting to start and hit anybody's pitch.
Unless you play for the Reds, you're not going to get hit by a pitch this season. But if you play for the Reds, you're going to get plunked. Everyone hates them. No, I don't know. What would pray and try to spray it to the outfield? Like what else do you do when you're up there?
Try to time it, and I don't think it matters if you close your eyes or not. If you just time it close enough,
yeah,
and get that bat through the zone.
Little NFL talk whenever we get back from the break. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. There's really only one football story today because it's the off season. A.J. Brown wants to get receivers together like tight ends do. I believe he's talking about that tight end university weird thing that I told you was a huge-ass money scam. I know a bunch of wide receivers, and I see them on TV. Not all these – there's not a room on earth that can handle all these personalities.
I mean, you're using personality loosely. Attempted personality? Alleged personality?
If they had a thing called
personality adjacent?
If they had wide receiver Thunderdome, I would watch that. That's the only thing I would watch.
I can say this from experience. On average, a group of tight ends is going to be a lot more level-headed than a group of
100%.
receivers.
And if A.J. Brown really wants all these people to come to his birthday party, Van, there's another way to do it. You just invite them.
Oh, that's super easy. What do you call a group of tight ends? A man bun? What is that?
It's a good question.
Group of tight ends.
Group of tight ends. It's called a waddle.
It's a group of tight ends is a Jaeger bomb.
Oh, that's a good one. Group of wide receivers, that's not allowed in most clubs.
No.
Oh, it's Juneteenth. Damn it.
Usually tight ends, like they're bigger, dude. I've noticed that as football players, when you're a bigger guy, you naturally, unless you're like a psycho D lineman, you're going to have good temperament because moving through society and just public, you're a bigger person and you play football. So you understand that, you can't get angry. You can't do certain things because everyone's going to freak out. So they're just usually a lot more relaxed and just like easygoing. Like offensive linemen are some of the coolest people on the whole football team. I was never somebody to like pick a fight with the offensive linemen because I was an offensive lineman and I knew that most of them just wanted to not get yelled at in film and want to get out of the hot. They're tired and they want to go sit down and they really don't want to be out there.
Tight end university, huge scam, tell a bunch of merchandise, split it amongst each other, offset their low pay grades. Wide receivers don't need this.
Nah, they actually get paid.
Yeah.
Also, if I'm starting a club that Tyreek Hill wants to be in, I need to cancel the start of that club.
Oh, God, you're so right.
He's not a healthy human being.
I mean, would I want to hang out with him in like a one-off party setting? The answer is resoundingly yes. Would I want him to be part of my organization going forward? Hard no.
He must be kind of healthy. He's got a lot of kids.
That's not mental health, friend.
Virility.
We have a submission for Sports Story of the Year whenever we get back. The weirdest thing in sports all year long to this point.
I think you're right.
95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. All right, I'm reading a real headline.
Okay.
I'm reading a real story.
It's a real story.
Everything I'm about to tell you is factually as it's being presented to me by blacksportsonline.com. Okay?
I'm sorry, what was the website?
Blacksportsonline.com.
Happy Juneteenth.
Milwaukee Brewers employee Amy Betro, identified as, quote, female assassin, unquote, hired to kill boutique owner Skadander Ali.
Okay. You want to say that one again?
Yes.
Okay.
Milwaukee Brewers employee Amy Betro, identified as, quote, female assassin, unquote, hired to kill boutique owner Skadander Ali.
Skadander is a sweet name.
He's a boutique owner.
What did he do?
He owned a boutique in the UK. Now, you may be wondering, Van, how someone working for a baseball team in the United States became a hitman in Europe.
That is exactly what I'm wondering.
He's skedaddles.
Amy is a lady, and she, it's a tale as old as time. Man.
Yeah.
First of all, how can you go from working in sports to attempting murder in a foreign country? Let me tell you, Van.
I know.
I have the highlights.
I mean, you kind of knew when OJ passed, there'd be some copycat killers.
I will carry on his legacy.
Well, at least when he did it with glove only, because she disguised herself in a hijab, ran up to him on the street, pulled a gun to head level, the gun jammed, and then she ran off. After she runs off, she texts him, quote, "Stop playing hide and seek. You are lucky it jammed." I'm not joking.
In her defense, she's correct.
She then the next day took a taxi to Ali's house, fired a bunch of shots into the building from a taxi.
So you never hear about the good contract killers, Fred.
No. She had to fly.
But you do hear about these ones.
Correct. She had to fly to the UK. How do you think she got there, Van?
Virgin?
Ah, nice. You're talking about the name of the plane. I was talking about the finances it took.
Okay.
Because she was fired by the Brewers for using a fan's credit card to pay for the travel.
Ah, who wants to pay for expensive travel costs?
She posted on X from the airplane from New York. She posted, "To Manchester we go, smiley face emoji. Can't wait to see my partner in crime, LOL."
You know, this
gun emoji, gun emoji.
Good job.
Blood drop umbrella emoji.
Isaiah?
This is dangerously close to the rapper King Von, who's notorious for just being like the main rapper who was actually doing the things he was rapping about. And there's a documentary where it shows him like tweeting before he goes and actually commits these crimes.
Guys,
and what's also really funny about it is she's shooting out a taxi, and rappers rap about shooting out of Ubers and taxis. So she must have been listening to the good old drill.
It gets even better with your descriptor.
It's a playbook.
Because she posted touristy Instagram videos upon her arrival in London, including dancing at a boat party, visiting the London Eye, going to the Transmission Music Festival in Crystal Palace.
Yeah. I didn't dress up in a hijab and try to shoot that guy. Look, I time-stamped my Big Ben photo.
This sounds like a Jason Statham movie.
It is.
This is the weirdest thing of all time.
You know, for the sanctity of baseball, at least she wasn't gambling on the sport. At least there's that.
Yeah, but to the detriment of baseball, Van.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks that Major League Baseball employees have to have second jobs.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, like
how else are you going to make ends meet?
That's multiple streams, really.
Become a contract killer.
Would you like me to keep reading weird stuff from this?
Please.
This whole thing, as I've given it to you, sounds of a Key and Peele sketch.
No one asked you to stop giving us weird details.
She reportedly sent Ali a text that said, "Where are you hiding?" after the first failed attempt.
Smart.
Now,
terrifying.
Yeah. Now, Betro, the female assassin, who was very poor at assassinating, she just flew back to America 2 days later, and she's been on the lam ever since, staying allegedly in hotels all over the country using fake names.
Now, she could have used Europeans' wonderful mass transit and just went to a non-extradition country in Eastern Europe. But instead, she came home with a laundry list of evidence against her. Super smart.
She is the type of gal that Isaiah would struggle to say no to at the end of a bar night.
Hey.
That's what she looks like.
Okay.
Isaiah's like, that's a pretty long list, dude.
And I was gonna start asking like a guess who game questions.
Okay, feel free. Yeah, ask.
No,
We got time.
Yeah, does your female assassin what?
I don't have to look up this girl. You know, nowadays it's popular to go after the people that have mugshots posted online.
No, she doesn't have mugshots because she's on the lam. Also, yeah.
But there's a lot on Twitter and Instagram of her.
She was walking around Birmingham City with a firearm dressed like every other Muslim woman. And then she was going to commit a murder. This lady's nuts. This is the weirdest story of the year.
No understatement, no hyperbole. This is one of the weirder stories in the history of sports entertainment.
Oh, because we don't often talk about front office Major League Baseball employees becoming soldiers of fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that quite often here.
So the league better crack down on this.
If there's one, there has to be more, right?
Yeah.
Look, think about it. If you're going to be a contract killer, why not somebody who just travels every 3 days to a new place?
And also
is a picture, Fred. You're pretty accurate.
Isaiah would be like, "That's fine. This is fine for tonight." This is fine.
Nailed it.
As a NL Central fan and St. Louis Cardinals fan, I mean, the Brewers start beef with everyone.
Start bratwurst with everyone.
And as always, that's a good one. But also, like, they never finish the fight, man. Like, it's just, they don't have it in them.
Who's her coach? Did she just decide on her own?
It's Craig.
Did she?
Craig
Counsel?
Craig Counsel.
Okay. Craig Counsel, after years of contract killing, comes back to manage Major League Baseball. Takes Amy, what was her name?
Betro.
Amy Betro under her wing.
Amy spelled the wrong way. AIMEE. Identified as the female. Here's the headline one more time. Milwaukee Brewers employee Amy Betro, identified as, quote, female assassin, unquote, hired to kill boutique owner Skadander Ali, who lived in the United Kingdom. She flew internationally for this. Do you know that meme where it's the white guy with the comb over hair and his face goes, nom, 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 nom? That's what my face did when I read that headline.
Is this real? Is this not The Onion?
I don't think it'll
I think it's Skadander, but he skedaddled.
Oh, God. Here we are. Isaiah's here.
Yeah, I got to let that one ride out. I'm proud of that one.
That's...
I'm surprised you didn't beat me to it.
No, I did not. I was trying to think of what pickup line you use for 48-year-old, what's her name? Amy Betro. 44-year-old at the time, 2019.
Wild.
I mean,
it's not very, you don't need a pickup line for those, Fred.
Hey, girl, want to test your luck? She goes, I'm a soldier of fortune. Because I can't.
More updates to come.
No, there's not.
Yes, there will be many more updates on this program. I got to find out how this thing ends.
As she got closer to Skadander Ali, he saw her and he saw the gun. As she pulled the trigger to fire at him, mercifully and luckily for him, the gun jammed. There you go.
Did it jam or did it Vegemite? Damn it, that's Australia.
Isaiah, happy Juneteenth.
Thank you.
I don't think people say that. Van, final words?
Too much for the time allotted, my friend. Anything we didn't cover, including updates on this story, I guess, check out the opening drive tomorrow morning with Jeff and JJ.
Good job, everyone. GG.
See you tomorrow, boo.